What's going on, everybody? We are the Cinefanatics, and we are here today with another Schmoedown reaction. This is a brand new setup that we've got going on here. We are now, and I got to close my email, otherwise it's going to make sounds while we're playing.
Sort of brand new. I mean, we've done a few of these live now, but it's not beat around the bush.
Wait, what?
Nobody uses that term anymore,
right? Anyways, this is a new setup where we will be doing reactions with a guest. So starting tonight, we've got our special guest, the NerdChronic, Eric Rodriguez, editor extraordinaire, one of our biggest supporters.
So it's the nerdiest of chronics?
The nerdiest of chronics.
I'll take that, yeah.
But otherwise, we are the Cinefanatics. My name's Robert Adams, and
I'm Chris Adams.
Oh, yeah. And like I said, this is a reaction to, we are in the semifinals of the Innergeekdom Tournament. We've got Chance Ellison versus the Barbarian. This could be a good match. Like,
you look at, okay, so let's break it down here. Let's look at the way Chance has been playing up to this point. He took out Paul Yama, and I know, like, we didn't necessarily have Chance winning that one. I think we had Paul winning that one too. And then he took out Robert Parker, who was the hype. He was the hype this season. I mean, you look at when he got picked up in the draft, it's insane to think that, you know, this is our golden boy this year. This is the second coming of Kevin Smets, sort of, I guess, or the first coming of Robert Parker, however you want to view it. But he got taken out by Chance. So we have Chance right now who's on a roll in the Innergeekdom division and doing pretty dang good.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, Chance, I mean, I've known Chance for a couple of years now, and he's definitely a guy who puts in a lot of work to get, you know, where he needs to be. And he didn't have like an easy road getting through this bracket. Like, he had, you know, a champion first, and a former champion, and then now a Fan League legend, and now he's going up against, like, now the second Rookie of the Year contender people are talking about. So, like, he had, you know, a lot of big hurdles to get over. So, like, he definitely had, you know, his the game set up to go against him in every single way. So, like, seeing him manage to get this far is already pretty impressive.
Yeah. I mean, and that's something to be said too. So, yeah, he's going up against Barbarian. Barbarian has been proving himself pretty well so far, but I know, like, the last match to what he has to accomplish this time, there's definitely a little bit of an uphill that he has to work on in order to come out on top on this one. So if we bring up our bracket, where is it at? You got it?
Yep.
There it is. So on this one, yeah, we actually have Chance Ellison beating the Barbarian here, assuming that the Barbarian didn't actually, like, vastly improve his game since the last go around. Now, let's keep in mind real quick,
we've been sleeping on Ellison here, obviously.
Yeah.
Look at those X's on there.
Yeah, that's true. Let's be honest about this real quick. This is the Cinefanatics bracket. This is not the NerdChronic bracket. He may or may not.
We've already seen the brackets. It's already done. That was done. That's been done.
Yeah. So while we don't know what's going to happen, as it turns out, the editor of the Schmoedown might know what happens.
Yeah,
one would hope.
I do know what happens, of course, because I watch these matches over and over again for business purposes. But I mean, it's still exciting to watch. I enjoy watching these matches any chance they get, especially with an audience, and that's why I do. You know, I see Suge Knight in the chat, as well as Jake from POV, and I mean, I tell this to everyone I can. Yeah, I did a shave. It's very nice. And I tell this every chance that I get, which is I do the edits, sure, and it takes a lot of time. And that's my buddy Andres. And but when I'm done and it's out to the public, I go back and I spend like a time of the day, like when I can, to just go back and watch all the reactions, like, which is you guys, POV, Suge Knight, Let's Go Ready to everyone. And it's just that's because that's like the payoff to me, you know, like seeing people enjoy the content, like just doing the work is that's great, and I love doing it. But like the payoff for it to me is like seeing people enjoy it.
Yeah.
And like I said at the beginning, this was kind of like one of the reasons why for when we do this, where we get a guest that's going to be coming on, and whether they're reacting and playing along with us, or they're just here to give us like some insight to however they're connected to the Schmoedown. That's why I feel like that when we were coming up with this idea, you were the first person that we wanted to reach out to, because you've been pretty much supportive ever since we really first started doing Schmoedown reactions. In fact, I remember it was like there was a couple of times we saw in the comments that someone with the name NerdChronic is making a comment, and we're like, okay, that's probably just like some uber like super nerdy.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I can't remember exactly when, but there was some time when we started like putting it together. Like, wait, he's the one who's doing like all the promo editing for it. Like, oh, okay, and then it was. Probably quite a ways after that when we made the trip out to LA and did like your podcast and that whole adventure.
Yeah,
around
back in the day when we were all just young whippersnappers
and we could travel the country.
Yeah,
and we could travel the country safely
and go outside. Yeah.
So yeah, I thought it like since you were like one of the first main connections we had to the Schmoedown, we thought it only appropriate to have you on as like our first guest when we do this, even though knowing full well you've probably seen this match a couple of times,
at least 16 times.
Yeah. I see them multiple times just to check everything, and but like I said, it's always a lot of fun to see it again with new eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So like you said, this is kind of a new thing we're doing here with how we're doing these reactions. So what's going to happen, guys, is that during the video, we might actually pause and stop it every now and then. Say if we want to analyze something that just happened, like somebody made a kind of a play, a real like strategic move or something, we kind of want to break it down during the actual match instead of waiting to try to remember everything afterwards.
Yeah.
And then also
about it a week later.
Yeah, we're talking about it a week later. And obviously, since we have Eric here with us now, we can also pick his brain a little bit on some of like the behind the scenes of how he edits it, what he's thinking about when it comes to, say, editing a promo or something happening during a match that, whatever insights we got in there.
Yes.
So that being said, if y'all have any questions in regards to the match, again, me and my brother have not seen this yet, so please don't spoil anything in the comments in the chat yet.
Yeah.
As we get to it, then if you have any questions about specific moments or situations that may pop up during this, feel free to drop that question at that time,
Yes.
and then we can get into it. As long we want to ask these questions, but still kind of be respectful to the game, knowing that that Eric here does have insight more into like the behind the scenes than pretty much the rest of us. We don't want to be diving in, and unfortunately, if you ask questions that we really can't, like he really can't answer, please understand that that may happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really can't have that one. You'll find out later, type of thing.
Yeah. And I see Andres asking, "Can we play along?" Yes, Andres, please play along.
Yeah, absolutely. Because what's happening there between the chat and us, there's going to be enough of a delay that you guys can answer questions along with us, and we're not going to see them before we answer our own questions. So, on top of that, guys, if you guys have any questions for Eric during the stream, priority does go to Super Chat and Streamlabs. So the Streamlabs link is right above my head. So if you want to jump in there and drop something in there, you can. Speaking of Super Chat, there we go. We got one from MovieFanobi right off the bat. NerdChronic, sponsored by Looking Good. Love your Schmoedown work. You're a busy man in 2020. Thanks for your video Jew participation or herding cats, whichever fits.
Yeah.
Hello, Adams v. Adams. It's our good buddy, movie Steve Fanobi.
I saw him. Yeah, I saw him shout me out on Twitter about my hoodie game that he said he loves, but I don't have a hoodie right now because it's pretty warm here in California. I don't need to tell you guys, you're in Texas.
Yeah, Sam.
It's a little warm here too.
Yeah. I was seeing the 101 in my car just a little while ago. Like, ooh, it's hot outside.
Also, want to point out that we do have a Patreon. Go to our Patreon website. Hop on our tiers. This coming Saturday, we will be doing our Patreon watch along. It's at the $10 tier. That's going to be X-Men.
I'm very excited for that.
This is on HBO Max right now, so there's a good place where you can go to stream it to watch along with us. That will be this Saturday at, what do we say, 8:30 Central Time, I believe.
Yes, yeah, 8:30.
8:30 Central Time, 6:30 Pacific, and 9:30 Eastern. It's amazing that I actually know those time zones now that we're like broadcasting stuff that's live. I had a hard time trying to figure them out before, but
I've done it so many times. How dare you? How dare you remind me of that brave?
All right, tomato.
All right, let's get on into this.
Yeah. Can you guys give me 1 minute? 1 minute.
Okay.
I just gotta run grab something over. I'll be right back.
Yep. Do your thing. So today our guest is a blank wall.
It's the behind the scenes. Anyways, so yeah, this is kind of like the format that I think we're going to do with these reactions from now on.
Yep.
We very much enjoy doing the reactions, like sitting on the couch with the Joker poster behind us, and I feel like we need to find some way to incorporate the Joker poster in these still, which is funny because I think both of us actually own a Joker poster, so you got to put yours behind you, and I'll put mine behind me.
Yeah, just put it as the actual background in the overlay.
Oh, that's a good idea too.
We might be our background.
Yeah,
or just down in the corner or something.
So yeah, this is the idea: is that we're going. It's a whiteboard that works. So this is the idea: is that we're going to be when we can. Like I know we're still trying to figure things out for the singles tournament that's going to be coming up pretty soon because there's going to be a lot of matches in 1 week for that. But we are looking at trying to get guests on so we can get insight from the guests and have the guests play along as well if they're able to. Like if you haven't seen the match already.
If they're able and they want to, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what we're going to do. We've got an episode coming up tomorrow night for tomorrow night's match, and then we also have the actual finals of the IG tournament, which is going to be next week. So we've got all that lined up. It's going to be a lot of good fun. We'll make some more announcements about that at the end of this episode.
Okay, cool. All right, let's jump in here.
Yes.
So we'll go.
Garth said your wall is a whiteboard when you weren't there.
That's just me. Let's do this. There we go.
I thought he was talking about me. I was like, it's just a wall, Garth. I can't just write on it.
If you had a whole wall of a whiteboard, you just draw on it anytime you wanted. It'd be awesome. All right.
Yeah.
So we get to hear some battle between Shannon and Fenstock.
Yes, which is always fun. And it's always fun, like seeing the managers cross over, like the ones specifically that don't often.
There's an ad already.
That's great, yeah.
The RPG mobile hit of 20. Welcome back to Movie Trivia Schmoedown.
Johnny Blaze.
Innergeekdom Tournament. It continues, and it is the semifinals. That is right. The semifinals.
Mark has been really good at his
yard
names during the IG tournament and the Star Wars tournament.
An unexpected semifinals, not with the Barbarian. Some people thought the Barbarian could get here, but Chance the Cobra Ellison pulling up maybe the biggest upset of the year, beating Robert Parker to get this spot.
Yeah, that's right, Christian. That's not even a discredit to Chance or his ability. I think a lot of people believe in that kid for a lot of matches, but when you look at Robert Parker, he was kind of the golden goose. Now that that's off the table, maybe you replaced a goose with some sort of weird rodent named Elvis, and that would be in the Barbarian's favor. But Chance, not only does he have one of the best study partners of all time, his manager, she's looking up too.
Well, yeah, I mean, they've always believed in Chance, and hard not to when you look at everything he's done. When you, to quote Frankie Numbers, you look at his stats. Look at what he's done.
Look at his stats.
Everything. Shannon has been singing this song for a long time, and people are finally listening.
I love how fleshed out this really is growing. Like over the past couple of years,
Irwin in the tournament.
Like mentioning really Frankie match, doing stats. There's actually a dedicated stats person for this sport now.
Really good opponents in his first interview.
I know he's been doing it for like a couple of years as well, but
he was the runner-up.
I mean, Frank's he's been working hard at it. He has the numbers down packed. And he's like our guy. I do want to give a shout out to Dr. Meg at C2A though for her also incredible stats that she does.
Yeah, she's doing fantastic. I've seen her like drop some stuff, and she's just like super committed to getting all those numbers.
Yeah. How people
way more than something I'd ever be able to do.
Yeah, now look, but if you look at the
but that's like I've watched sports before,
just because,
and like they post up like this running back has so many rushing yards of this, that, and I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Maybe the Barbarian does. So is the Barbarian?
But like Frank's done a fantastic job of keeping that up to date. And, like the way it gets shared, it's like if you're engaged, easy to follow along.
I would even include.
That's really like having
that.
that.
Knowing how many
It's
points
stats I understand.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The Barbarian though has 2 wins in the Innergeekdom, and now here he is. This is a match where
Craig is such a
doing
blast.
something that he hasn't done yet, and that's come in as the underdog.
Craig's a really good dude. I like him.
Face against Chance Ellison, who, like you said, has
Craig, and he's always down. You know, he's been on our thing lots of times, and he's just an incredibly fun guy to be around. He just loves the game so much, and that he loves to just kind of be involved with like any competitive aspect of it, including, as we heard from Roka, a lot like training him.
This guy has been touted by not only, we've seen people tout it before. We've seen people going, "Oh, this guy's going to be one of the greatest players ever. He's going to be the next champion." And normally you get Roka, who says, "Yeah, well, let's see what happens once he gets slapped in the mouth."
Speaking of Roka, talking about Craig,
even Roka is saying that this guy is the goods.
There it is. So
this could go either way here today. Both Korruption and Finstock Exchange. This is massive for the Finstock Exchange to push away Korruption.
I mean, we look at if Chance wins this, that really does put Ben Goddard in the hot seat right now for Rookie of the Year fully. I think.
Say, hey, we're not only going to be able to look Finstock
if Barbarian wins this,
if Barbarian loses, that puts Ben Goddard in a higher stance for that Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, hot seat sounds like a bad thing.
Hot seat. I just don't think
now,
that puts a lot of fear.
Let's be honest. Also, we're going into the singles tournament, and there's like almost 8 new people. I'm just pulling a number out. A large number of new people, new rookies that we haven't seen perform yet this year, jumping in there. So
there's a handful of new rookies, like full-on rookies. There's a handful of single rookies as well that we jumping into the division for the first time. But I think there's going to be some surprises though amongst everyone coming in.
At its end. However,
I mean, you go halfway. We're halfway into the season, so
not only do we have
the big game
coming up right around the corner,
don't remind
July 31st. That's right, July 31st.
That's gonna be a good match.
Pay-per-view and Patreon first. The number 1 contender match between the Outlaw.
Man, I can't believe that. I can't believe Roka's behind Irwin in that image. It's just so disrespectful.
I'll say it here because I don't want to put anyone on blast on Twitter or anything like that. He's behind him because there's an edit on his hand.
All right, Mark.
That makes sense.
The edit is pulled from 2 different images we have of him. Like that's primarily why he's behind him. That's it. It's more of an aesthetic thing. So yeah.
The Rookie of the Year conversation. Robert Parker gonna give me so many points. Come on, Parker.
Barbarian and Robert Parker is a match that I never knew that I wanted until you just said it.
Oh Lord.
Oh. You were expecting someone else.
It's gonna play an ad in the middle of Eric's promo, and I can't skip it.
Yeah, the funny thing is that happens a lot. I don't know why. Like the match as it airs on here, just like automatically sees like here's a clip of video where people aren't talking. I'll just put the ad there. So do me a favor and go back.
Yeah.
Because I want to do service to Chance's thing there.
Number 1 contender
100%.
match between the Outlaw John Roka and big time Ethan.
Since I'm here, I'm going to ask you guys to go back and do that.
Make sure you can get it at the schmoedownlive.com or join.
You can pretty much control it any way you want during this video.
I think that's kind of the idea behind this is that we can actually control it and stop and pause and rewind.
Hey Chris, take off your shirt and cluck like a chicken. All right, Eric. Fine.
Exactly.
That was a weird request. Eric, why did you do that?
This is now a Finstock Exchange podcast.
Robert Parker is going to take over the Rookie of the Year conversation. Robert Parker going to give me so many points. Come on, Parker.
Barbarian and Robert Parker is a match that I never knew that I wanted until you just said it.
Oh, you were expecting someone else, weren't you?
Yeah.
My choice for Rookie of the Year in 2020 is this kid, Robert the Spider Parker.
I heard that. I disagree with it.
And your winner!
Nice.
Advancing to the next round, the Cobra!
Most people thought I wasn't going to win. You know what? Most people didn't need to think I was going to win. My entire faction had faith in me. I worked hard. I wanted it. And I came in and I executed.
Well, I'd hate to say I told you so. Just kidding. It's my favorite.
Looks like Korruption's got the dungeon's number. We did it again. Sit down and shut up.
Chance to the Barbarian. How do you feel?
About the who?
Well. Once again, we find ourselves in the cavern of broken dreams. Only this time, it's our dream that's been broken. And in these boxes, I hold the dreams and wishes of my fallen competitors. We had one special box that we'd written out with the name Robert Peter Parker. going to be the prize of our collection. Only someone stole that dream from us. So instead, we get you, son of L.
I just can't bet against the Barbarian. The man is a monster. He's a machine.
Another really hyped up rookie for this year. I'm starting to see a pattern in my matches.
It almost doesn't seem like he has a weakness, and that's terrifying.
He's performed adequately. That's not a slight against him. He just hasn't been in a position where he's had to perform incredibly impressively. Here's your chance. Literally.
Chance, you probably watched the Star Wars tournament and saw Ace Cabrera go on his Cinderella story. You thought, oh, that looks like fun. I'll do one of those of my own. Have a little Chancerella story. Well, guess what, Chance? It's time going down. It's getting late. The clock's about to strike midnight.
Hulk.
So your little
Nice.
Chance Ellison is going to turn back into a pumpkin or some other gourd.
If you think beating me is going to be anywhere near as easy as it was for you to beat Hlavik or John Humphrey, you're mistaken.
Nobody knew what to expect out of the Barbarian when he joined the Schmoedown this season. So we took up a last-minute offer to play him in singles, and he TKO'd my girl Clee Wiggins. Needless to say, I'm not very happy about that. Revenge is in the air. And today, the Barbarian's gonna get a taste of what it feels like to be on the loser side.
He's the Barbarian. He's just like Ivan Drago in Rocky IV. Whatever he hits, he destroys.
And those glass slippers you're wearing are going to turn into sand.
Nicely done.
So here's one of the great things we can do right now is I can actually pause that and be like, dude, killing it again.
Thanks.
We can actually say it to your face this time.
Yeah, that's weird because usually we're all like, yeah, so that was a good promo by NerdChronic, Eric. Yeah, dude, that was fantastic.
Thanks. I will give credit
music
to
choice, composition, everything. Just
the music was good. I mean, it's like a little heavy for I think that fits Chance and Craig very well. And the opening though with Chance saying you were expecting someone else, that was definitely his idea. After he beat Parker, he immediately wanted to kind of rub that in his face to just kind of drive home the point that, like you said, people were definitely underestimating him going far in this tournament. So he pitched that idea to me. I was very on board with it. So I usually like to let these the competitors kind of drive the creativity for whatever they do in the promos, and I'll just work around it. Beyond that though, Craig also with his boxes of broken dreams and like the Cinderella analogy, like he really helped sell the comedy of it. And Craig's always great at that. He's always great at giving that kind of dry deadpan humor in otherwise a very serious promo with high stakes.
Yeah. Here's one thing I noticed there that I actually really enjoyed is, and I've been noticing this a lot. I don't know if this is like directly how you attack these promos or have been attacking these promos at least lately. There's a very like documentary feel to them right there, where it's those cuts where it cuts to say like their entrances into another match or a prior match while they're talking. Like I noticed it specifically while Barbarian was talking. It looked like as it was cutting to like him entering into a match. I was like, this feels like a very like sport documentary feel during these promos. Yeah,
and I guess that's part of it. It's kind of like one, like the promos have to be entertaining, and like they have to have that kind of like intensity about them. But like they do have to be a little bit informative because we always have to remember that this might be someone's first promo that they're catching. So like has to have some sort of information about their background. I lean into the idea a lot though that people who are watching this are most likely familiar with, where they came from, who they are. So I can't explain everything, but I do like to have some sort of at least introduction in every sense, in some sense, in every promo to like who the people are and like kind of what the story is between, I guess those involved. Shannon. I really want to get that point of Shannon talking about Clee Wiggins in there because this is like a revenge match for Korruption against the Finstock Exchange.
Yeah, you're hitting like any of those notes where maybe these competitors or factions interacted at some point before.
Yeah.
And then what recent events happened that inform where they're at now or how they got where they're at now.
Yeah, and it depends on the type of match too. Like the stakes of the match, like the kind of narrative and the tone of it. For like really high stakes matches, like say like a finals match, I usually have somewhat less of the managers and more of the competitors talking and being involved because I think their perspective is to be fair to everyone, like a little bit more important for that specific moment. The managers are great, but I think at that point we need a little bit less of like kind of their insight on the thing, more about what the competitors are feeling at that moment, getting into the big match like that.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I think that's one of the reasons why we're glad we have you here, is because I don't really know if like too many people really dive deep into knowing what it actually takes to create a promo like that really kind of hits all the right notes and drives the point of like the storylines and everything home.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like what you're saying, finding that I think one of the key things to the promos, finding that balance, like you were saying, between a new person watching this for the first time, but at the same time not boring the audience that is already familiar with the storyline. It's still kept fresh. It's still kept entertaining, invigorating. The other thing I want to know is the stuff that gets filmed specifically for the promos. Whether, like, if it was in the studio, these would be the trash talking in front of the green screen. This is essentially, I guess, the competitors are told to turn on a camera and just start trash talking something to the camera. Depending on if there's a storyline, I'm guessing that like they might be told like where this needs to go, but. I'm guessing what it sounds like is they're kind of like just free to just come up with whatever they could come up with that would be entertaining, humorous, meaningful on their own as well.
Yeah, I mean, we have like a few notes that we give everyone, obviously, to like make sure you talk about this thing, like this. These are the points kind of like are important to hit as for like the overall like narrative that's happening in the tournament. But for the most part, like we let everyone kind of freestyle like what they want to do, specifically the more humorous ones, like Kaiser and Dagnino, like they'll just run off and do whatever they want to do, and they sometimes they'll hit the points that we need, but like otherwise like they kind of just riff and like we're able to work with that. But they have good stuff, like they do what they do very well, and so like the notes are I think more for the people who can't riff as well, like like they kind of like are like they're fresh or like they don't really have like the ability to like kind of freestyle or improvise the way they can. So the notes help with that to help make sure everyone has something to say.
So are there ever times, and you don't name names, but are there ever times where you get like promos back from people that are like, this is going to be so much fun to edit? You haven't even watched it yet, and you already know you're going to have some fun with this. Yeah,
I mean, it depends on what, again, like what's in my mind for kind of what I need. There are definitely some where, say, someone might hit a point and immediately comes to mind like, oh, that's perfect. That matches like perfectly with what's another event that happened in the match, or like on backstage, like it just meshes well together. And so like I could just see it in my mind, like kind of like forming already. I trying to think. So sorry, I'm trying to think of an answer to something that I'm not. If it already debuted, it must have, because again, I saw a reaction to it, so like it must have. Yeah, so I can remember now, just being safe. In the Kalinowski zipper match, Kalinowski references, how like everyone's saying he has to do better to beat Parker, right? But then he says like, well, that's not going to happen because Chance is going to take out Parker. And so like having him say that, with like the footage I have like the day prior of like Chance actually beating Parker, like it works so well, so like I was I had that in my mind to like make sure I got that in there to like have as a visual aid to Kalinowski making that point, because it drives it home much harder to see it happen as he's like calling his shot from back then.
It's like playing it basically like Kalinowski knew that Chance was beating Parker.
Yeah.
Instead of like, I'm just gonna talk some trash and like, oh yeah, he's gonna beat him. No problem.
And which isn't a spoiler, by the way, because like these matches do tape pretty like sequentially. So by the time we taped that match and Kalinowski calling that, Chance had not played Parker by that point, so he was definitely calling his shot, or Chance's shot for that.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I think that's really cool, because you get a lot of like cool little details in there from stuff. I mean, what strikes me is the ability to just turn around and like, I guess you have most of the edit. I think we've talked about stuff like this before between the three of us, but you have most of the edit typically done, and then maybe some situation like that where it's all right, final bits I have to jump in there and add in there real quick before. Yeah,
like if anything new that comes up, like anything striking, I can like add in there. But for the most part, like I'm pretty comfortable like in the edits as it's done in their entirety on the first go. But yeah, if there's any like crazy changes, then I'll try to squeeze it in there.
Yeah.
And
That's
I guess
awesome.
real quick before we move on, we'll call out apparently Andres here likes your stuff too.
Yeah. Yeah. Andres is my good friend coming into the singles tournament soon, which I think I'm very excited for. And he's also a fellow editor, friend of mine, so he knows the ins and outs of that.
Yeah. All right.
Let's proceed with the
Moving
destroying of someone.
Yeah. Moving along.
And look, the big story, Mark, when you look at all that, it is absolutely, even though you see what the Barbarian has done and you go, wow, this guy is for real, it's that win by Chance. Because Chance, it wasn't.
Do you
one of
have
these,
to
oh,
have
he
the
lucked
promo
into it.
like
He was
done
dominating
in
that match since
I guess
from the
in
first
time for
question
this to
the last
play?
question. He didn't look intimidated by Parker.
I don't know if that's a question you can answer or can, but
No, it depends on what it is. Like obviously for live matches and like kind of think big matches, yes. For the most part, like we get them when we can, more so later. But usually it's we try to get the promos done as early as possible. I will say that's why we do. And the studio is very different. In the studio, it's like it's easier to do that because we film the promos in advance on the green screen and do the whole spiel, and then all the stuff happens. So yeah, it's a bit of an adjustment getting this done for digital purposes.
One of her rivals, the one and only Bobby Gucci.
Oh, here we go.
Here you go. So Shannon, it looks like it's Kaiser and Dagnino back and forth. You have pretty much, I think, gotten rid
Also,
of.
thanks,
Kaiser.
Jake, for
You have
dropping
won
the
war
Patreon in
against
there.
the dungeon. I
Appreciate
nobody
it.
can argue
Thanks,
that.
Jake.
Now the war begins with the Finstock Exchange.
Eric's trying to look over it.
You've had your battles in the past. How are you feeling going into this one?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say thank you because that was a lovely compliment. I will take it. Secondly, here we go. I'm so excited to be up here with Gucci because, the Barbarian TKO'd my girl at the beginning of the season. I know we all remember this. And I gotta admit, we did not see him coming. He caught us off guard. And that's the one time we'll allow it. So I'm very excited to get revenge on that situation here today.
Gooch, you are still pretty here in first place, but Korruption right on your heels. I've spoken to you on the phone about this. You know that they are a credible threat. You wouldn't.
He needs to pop up here one day with his name being Stanley Gucci.
Nah, nobody can touch us. So how important is this match here with Barbarian and Chance?
It's huge. I mean, first
I'm
of all,
actually surprised he hasn't done that already.
Strawberry World Championship ring that I got at a yard sale. But yeah, I mean, look, like I told you before, the only person after the draft that I saw that could have been right on our level is Korruption, because they have Chance, who can play IG and he can also play regular. Same thing with Kalinowski and their teammates.
That's
honestly
that is the best thing about Korruption right now.
Needs. But then you throw a Laura
Is
Kelly
they've got-
into the mix too, who's making waves in the Star Wars.
They've got all
division,
three right there.
and now they got my attention. Look, Chance did something that was
And like you said, and Laura Kelly in
so
Star
many
Wars,
levels.
like they have like very heavy hitters in all four divisions.
One basket, and unfortunately,
And they have it with three players.
Yeah.
Shannon had a better way of doing things and proven here.
What would the world have looked like
But,
if
we're here
NerdChronic
to
was
basically
part of
shock the world.
Korruption?
That's what we're kind of doing.
Yeah, that'd be a fun what
When it
if,
comes to handling
right?
pressure, both of your respective competitors have proven that they're able to do that. But as managers of factions who are competing for the top spot, do you worry that maybe there's undue pressure on your individual competitor having to shoulder the load of a faction for today's match? Start with you, Finstock, then we'll go over to Shannon.
Yeah, I mean, look, our faction was very light on IG, and that's just the bottom line. I mean, yes, Dan said he was going to come play, but he's got other obligations. Emily obviously, didn't shine like we thought she would. I mean, no offense to her, she played great. It's just she ran up against better competitors. But Barbarian, I was looking for another person to enter the tournament, and he was like, I'm in for the faction, whatever the faction needs. And this man, who is a genius in regular trivia, was like, I'm going to take it on my shoulders, and I'm going to get you some wins for the faction. went along with it.
I want to see what it's
Man
like
takes
during a
out Lavik,
normal
the man takes
year
out
where we
Humphrey,
don't have a
and now we're
pandemic.
seeing
But how
real
much of
kids.
this,
You know, before this tournament
we're
started,
halfway into the
I
year,
said
and
in
how
IG, if we get
many managers
6 points,
kind of already
I'd
have
be
figured
happy.
out the three that they kind of
because I
want to
knew
keep
I
on
had
their
Yolanda
team
in Star Wars
going into next
He's
year.
given us way more than that. We couldn't be happier.
Yeah, so you guys tell me because
Very long answer, Shannon.
I'm
Maybe
trying
you
to
can
keep up
be
with
a
that
little more
information too.
concise.
Is that
I'll do my best. It's
three
not
managers
anything to
like
worry about.
across the
There's
board,
this
all
myth
like
that,
9 get to
you know,
pick,
Mike and
keep
Chance
3
are holding
players
production
like
on
period?
their backs, and
All managers
the-
get to keep
the reality
three
is every
Yeah,
single
so-
faction
people on their team
in this league
So
for
what
next
has
season.
maybe
What
a
it
handful of
is
players
you
that
either
are
get to keep
carrying
3 on
their
your team,
entire
or
faction.
maybe
So
you want to
it's not
sign
just
someone from
Korruption,
another
it's not just the
faction
Barbarian,
without.
it's not just any
Like they have the ability to
person
sign
who's
people.
tweaking the
You
weight
get
for their
to
entire faction.
choose
That's every
3
single
people for your
faction.
team
So
automatically
people need
before
to
the
just
draft
shut
even
up about
starts,
that
pretty
'cause it's
much.
a dumb
I see.
argument.
Interesting.
And there,
So
like I
if
said,
one of the
there's no
players
reason
wants to make a
worry.
jump
And
off
the
of
people
one team
that
to
are up there
another,
playing,
and
they
they
want to
go
be
and talk to
here.
that manager,
They're
that manager
good at
can
what
sign
they
them if they
do.
want
So
to.
it's not
Interesting.
frustrating.
All
I
Uh,
love this.
that's what
They
like
eat and
I
breathe
saw
and
one
sleep
earlier.
this.
Someone was trying to
All right, well,
sweet
thank
talk
you to both
Bibiani.
Shannon Barney and Bobby.
I saw that
Goose.
earlier
Good
today
luck to
on
both of
something
you.
or another.
Big, massive match. Once again, the winner will go on to play the winner.
I don't
of
know if that
Alex Heyman
happens.
and
I don't know
Mike
about that one.
Kalinowski, which will air tomorrow. All right, guys.
Well, the
I'm gonna
problem
drop
is
you
like
out
you
here
you're
in
sweet
just
talking the
a
competitors
second.
right now,
Mark,
but
I'm pretty
like
so
say
this is a match, man. You
Bibiani
look at,
and
these two
Brendan Meyer
guys. This is
may
gonna be something.
do
It's already getting testy,
fantastic
Chris.
in a
Knowing the
teams
managers
tournament
like my question very
under
much. But
Coy's
look,
management.
It's a fair point.
Yeah,
Is
they
that
might not
how much
want to leave
pressure are these
Coy
guys feeling right now?
because I know Coy's not
We're
going to want to
about
give
find
him
out
up
because
either.
This match could be just seconds away from being underway, and Christian, your golden throat holds that key.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the
Every time he
Movie
refers to Christian's golden throat, I can never not hear that
Schmoedown.
one line.
Introducing
Give me that throat, boy. What? No.
representing
Awful. Just awful.
the Finstock Exchange with a record of 2 wins, no defeats in the Innergeekdom division. Led to the ring by Elvis. This is
Presley?
Led to the ring by Elvis. I haven't heard led to the ring in a while.
Yeah. Yes.
He is the one and only, the Barbarian, the music blasting, and the epic music as it is. He is here.
He's
is
like
ready. The
in a
Barbarian,
new
look,
place
man,
every time.
Yeah. He's doing this in his kitchen next to his refrigerator, and it's still awesome.
Gucci back last season. You guys have had this relationship. You said to him, look, draft me. I want you to draft me. He listened, and he benefited.
The chair could
because
not handle
of it.
his
You've gotten
awesomeness.
A lot of points. You played in singles. You're about to play in teams. Should we have a?
It was like
got a
two
good-looking
options. I gotta
kitchen
get away.
And
I
yeah,
could start a
now
cooking
IG,
channel in that
2-0.
kitchen.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling fantastic. I've gotten myself into my kitchen. So close to the end of the tournament. So hungry for that victory. I felt there's no better place to play than here. I saw that Chance Ellison had
I love that reasoning.
surprise victory. It was no surprise to me.
It's so simple,
Very
but yet
funny
it's effective.
What he can do.
Craig is such a treasure.
But here's some facts. My last name is Gagne. It's the French word for winning. Chance's last name is son of L. That's the opposite.
All right, fair enough. Ellis?
Yeah, I'm looking in your kitchen. It looks like a KitchenAid X22 model, which is the same one I have in my mansion. It looks like even your chair, Barbarian, was a little nervous to be in your presence. So clearly you have that.
After my almost 10 years of
who
selling
you're competing with,
appliances,
maybe even who is
that
in your
checks
humble
out.
abode with you. But when you
I
and
can
Elvis
confirm
did
that
your last
that sounds
match, you,
about
by
right.
your own admission, said wasn't your smoothest ride. Wasn't
That's
your
why we
best
have you
play
on
match.
these
So
reactions. You can give us
do you
insight
think
into
that that's gonna
appliances in the
continue
meantime.
Appliances.
Revenge, just on a personal level.
Y'all thought I was here to answer movie questions. No, I'm here to talk about
I look back at what I
appliances.
did, and I say, what do I need to improve on? And I improve on it. If anyone's looking for a chink in my armor, I invite them to. Because any perceived weakness they may find, by the time the next match is...
Okay, very
it's gonna be
fair.
strength.
Very fair.
All right. Well, there he is, Mark, the Barbarian, prepping here to face the Cobra. Barbarian going to drop out here in just a moment. Here we go.
Time for an ad.
Yeah.
Live TV from 85 plus.
No, we don't want YouTube TV right now. They're really just forcing that YouTube TV on us.
I was like, I work for a cable company. I don't need to see cable TV ads.
His opponent representing.
That's like someone saying, like, I wish when you bought like the product, you can like tell the ad people like, hey, like I got it.
Yeah,
you can stop now.
Yeah, stop showing me the ads.
Yeah.
What's funny is the lobby that I work in has the TVs. It has TV showing like ads for my company, but also has regular TV playing. Yeah. And what's funny is when they show like competitor ads on the TV right next to the TVs that are showing whatever the fluff stuff that are advertising.
It is a fair question.
Where's your spider now?
Fair question. A lot of people, didn't have you beaten Oyama, and nobody had you beaten Parker. The Facebook group, you've seen it. You saw the responses before.
Look, Schmoedown's got to make its money.
Maybe you've done some questionable.
I don't know if that really works on skipping the ads, but
a lot of credit for the victory. How has it been since that victory against Parker?
I'll tell you what. I rode high for about a day after I beat Parker. Right after that, it's back to work because I knew that
he Chance's fat head again.
Yeah, look at that fat head.
I'd keep working, so I was right back watching movies.
On this wall behind him.
Questions and just
it's that football player on his wall.
But Chance, you're not just going up against Robert Parker and his glorious.
Is that football player for the Washington football team?
Where he feels comfortable in his kitchen, but you also have Elvis to tangle with. So
it's a nice timely joke you made there.
This match and this opponent differ.
It's more of a reference really than a joke, but hey, you know.
Last match.
You're supposed to be scared of a guy with a rodent over his shoulder? Cobras eat rodents for breakfast, Doug. I'm not scared of the Barbarian. I'm not scared of anyone.
Did he call him Doug?
I never had it easy in this league.
Doug.
And you're seeing the results of that now. Because right now, I'm playing at the top of my game.
Wow.
Hard to
There's a
argue
reference.
That. The battle
it's a deep cut reference to Nickelodeon cartoon.
2-1 going up against the Barbarian sitting at 2-0. All right, so we're just going to drop you out here for a moment. The competitors have entered the virtual arena. Mark, how does round number 1 go?
That's right. It's a cobra and a mongoose, kind of. I'm not sure what Elvis said. Rudyard Kipling would be proud. And now we move on to the rules of round number 1.
Speaking of references, Ellis is a pro at that.
Yeah.
Geekdom goodness. Each question.
Yeah, Ellis's improvised references are so great.
There is no stealing.
I hope to improvise as good as Ellis when I grow up.
To show
I hope you do too.
Your answer was after 15 seconds for each question. Please show what you wrote on your tablet with whatever utensil you have handy to your camera at the same time you verbalize your answer into the microphone. I'll remind each competitor and each competitor's pet rodent, should they have provided.
All right, so this is the part of the reaction where Eric silently judges us.
That's right.
While we get answers correctly.
As I always do.
To get that answer, use the JTE rule. You also each have
it's just
one
now he has to
challenge
silently
ratified
judge us
and
while
ultimately
looking at us,
issued by your
like in
manager.
person.
Yeah.
Instead of us waiting till
All right,
later for him to
so
get messages
with
saying,
that,
"You guys
we
suck."
are going to
Yeah,
start with
shake
Chance
my head.
Ellison. Are you ready?
Let's get it.
Barbarian,
Guys
are
are
you
such a
ready?
disappointment.
Whatever it takes.
Then let's get ready to
This is one of the coolest things that has been added.
Number 1.
Yeah, so can you go back for a second? Can you go back 1 second?
In
Yeah,
the
so we can see that
category
again.
of the MCU.
Wham! Rewind that mug. Oh,
Did you have a hand? Did you have a hand in the creation of that too, or
So that was created by one of our good editors at Skybound. He did the whole graphic for it. However, like when we got it, we used it first for the Star Wars tournament, and that's how it had to be. But when we use it now, listen to it real quick. Take a listen to the whole thing.
Then let's get ready to Schmoedown. All right, guys.
So there's a little bit of sound
round
design in
number
there
one.
that recently
one
added, and that was done by my good friend Luis Lopez, who's doing the sound for us. Yeah, sorry, who's doing the sound for us this year. We hired him on to do sound when we're still taping at the studio, and he did a great job with the throwdown that we did with Korruption versus the Family, and for those matches that we filmed that day. And but since then we haven't really had like a need for like him to do much. But now I asked him to do that, and he knocked that out in like 10 minutes, and it was like an easy gig. But it sounds super nice. I love having just a little bit of sound design behind that intro graphic.
And it really like elevates things too, because it really feels like it's a big piece to like a greater like sport, like a big sports type deal. And just that little bit, even with the sound design, elevates it a whole lot.
Like I use something like look at something like that in comparison to say like if you watch football on Fox, they have those giant football robots that are sitting there off to the side while they're promoting stuff.
Yeah.
It's something like that. It just really grabs the attention and builds up the hype as referencing this as a sport overall.
We
that
just have
a really
the
nice
Schmoebot.
touch.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, Eric,
Schmoebot.
in the future, like whenever you do one of those, like what's the next match coming up? Have like one of those robots, just have a robot come in and just, this is the next match coming up.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, right. If you want to design it and it's like something I just drop in 2 seconds, sure.
Yeah, I'm not doing that per match now.
All right.
Who plays Sharon Carter in Captain America: The Winter Soldier?
Oh no.
That's a good question. You know what else is a good question, Christian?
Sharon.
Where did I get my name from today? Come on, get
She
there.
was in that show Revenge too. I can't remember her name.
Come on, get there.
Not Peggy.
Yeah. I was starting to write down.
I'm not going to remember her name.
I was starting to write down Haley Atwell. I'm like, nope.
That's your answer, not Peggy.
Emily Van Camp.
Emily Van Camp.
That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah, not Peggy.
Emily Van Camp.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
The answer is
All right,
not
Mark, next
Peggy.
question.
I love last names that begin with Van. Your next question, gentlemen, is in the world of Star Wars. Galaxy
Little-
not too close to here.
A little burnt
Good
out on
question.
Star Wars now, but
The
okay.
characters Chancellor Valorum, Captain Tarpace, C.O. Bibble, and Obi-Wan Kenobi all appear in which Star Wars film? Just need the subtitle. Don't need the episode numeral.
Oh, the subtitle.
And Christian, we're looking for Ghost Rider.
I knew that, actually.
Actually, you didn't. You went to math instead of answering the question.
Can I get a repeat of the question, please?
First one.
Make him say Captain Tarpace again.
Elvis. In the category of Star Wars, the characters Chancellor Valorum, Captain Tarpace, C.O. Bibble, and Obi-Wan Kenobi appear in which Star Wars film?
Can you spell Captain Tarpace?
Certainly. Tarpais.
I believe he's thinking Captain Tarples.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there a Captain Tarpace? And
Usually, I mean, that's a question for Star Wars competitor, not me.
3.
Yeah. That's, so this is basically just how the
Pens
question is
down,
written in
please.
the document,
Start
though,
with
right?
Yeah, you tell me.
With the Phantom Menace.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Chance.
The biggest letdown of 99, the Phantom Menace.
Yeah, I really think Chancellor Valorum is the giveaway
All right.
on that.
Next.
yeah, because that's
on
the
that
only one
question,
he's
yeah.
in.
Question 3. This is Middle Earth. What is the name of Bilbo's home within Hobbiton in the Middle Earth series? Oh, snap.
His
This
home
this is a
It's
good
down
question
1999
because
Yes.
this
finding out
this
the Blair
throws
Witch was
people
not
off.
real.
Yeah,
Not real.
because that whole place
Yeah.
is like layered.
Sorry about that. 5.
Not
Yeah.
real at all.
4.
And you're thinking that
3,
that's the name of this,
2,
and you
Yeah, I
don't know
only-
which
1.
one's.
Pens down.
I only have one
Chance.
answer.
Bag end.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, see, I even
Mr.
messed it
Barbarian.
up.
Bag end.
Yeah.
Yes. That
Would
is
you
right.
See, I
think it
said
was-
the Shire.
3,
Yeah, same.
3.
Yeah, so
3,
the
3.
territory is the
As we see
Shire.
our next
The
question,
specific like
Mark,
region is
number
Hobbiton. Like his home is Bag End.
Bags. Your next
Yeah.
question is in the world of DC.
Austin,
movies.
Texas, United
And
States.
your
That's where we're
query
at
therein.
right here.
What 2006 DC film features the line, "People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of their people"?
Oh,
2006.
Yeah, rings true with each
Oh.
passing year.
No.
Yes. The reason I didn't answer your question
Because
before.
you didn't know the answer.
No, because you were going to. What if we asked that later? 5, 4, 3.
I get 3 questions.
I'm blanking on what
1.
what
Pens
DC would
down,
count in 2006.
please. And Barbarian.
Superman Returns?
That is incorrect. And Chance.
Steve Vendetta.
Yes.
Oh.
Chance goes up by
Yeah.
1.
V for Vendetta.
The DC property, DC imprint.
Go to our next
film.
question. Marvel films.
They need to give up on that.
In
Shoot.
Fantastic Four.
That's upsetting.
Oh,
2015,
Fan Four Stick.
Which of the Fantastic Four members does not teleport to the newly discovered dimension and is responsible for bringing the others back alive?
I was going to put this movie on later. Now,
I'll be honest.
Why?
These
You can do this. It's
really
on- I
long
think it's on
questions
Disney
are very
Plus.
annoying
Strange.
to write.
tell
to like
me your
to like
wares,
you know
sir.
restructure and fit into the
5,
question bar and stuff like that.
4,
It's just, yeah.
3, 2, 1. Pens down, please, and Chance.
One small step for man. You just get our gamma farts. Sue Storm.
That is right. And Barbarian.
Invisible Woman, Sue Storm.
All right, so
Yeah,
I've never
okay,
seen
so
this movie. Have no
Chance
intention of
Ellison,
watching
1
it,
point lead.
and I just
We
guessed
see a 5-4
Yeah.
score
Yep.
here
Good
after
guess.
5 questions mark.
So that's
All right,
literally
this
just pulling
next,
a random
universe, I
one.
believe,
I
available
had
on
one of
Hulu
4
is
chance
the
there.
Wizarding World. And your question.
HBO Max.
In Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, while at the Weasley household, it will be the first time Harry travels to Diagon Alley using what? That's not exactly a yes or no, is it?
No, you're not going to get that one
yeah.
right.
Unfortunately, we are not very strong
And
at Harry
5.
Potter.
Not yet.
4, 3.
Yeah, this would be a
2,
harder one, specific
1.
phrase
Hands
or
down,
term.
please. And
But I feel
Mr.
pretty
Barbarian.
confident in my answer.
Blue powder.
Blue powder is correct. And
Do you?
we have.
Well, I did.
Blue powder.
Yes, that is.
I thought it was
correct.
his first time visiting
All
Diagon Alley
Next.
in an Uber.
6-5. Here's the next question.
I feel very confident that I got it wrong. Don't
Uber
worry about
powder.
Star Trek.
Uber.
Which Star Trek, the Next Generation film, features the tagline, "The future of the galaxy and the survival of a race depend on an act of rebellion"?
Yeah, Christian, I always like to rely on flu powder after I manscape.
Look at you. Well, I would say
I
that.
love how I
You might
start
have to
writing
use
it like
that
in the
spot.
middle of the board, and then by the time I get to the end of the word, I'm like
yet.
squeezing
5,
it.
4, 3, 2, 1. Pens down and Chance Ellison.
Insurrection.
No, he did it too.
Barbarian.
Insurrection.
Yeah,
Yes, it is.
it's like
Okay.
insurrection.
Insurrection.
Chance sees himself with a 1-point lead.
Star Trek
still.
movies are the ones I need to
7
catch up on
6
still,
going into
too.
Question number 8, Mark.
Yeah, there's a lot of
That's
them.
right, Chance is perfect. If he remains perfect for 3 more questions,
This is
he's gonna
why
have a bonus question.
I'm not interested in going
Yes,
into IG
to
anytime soon.
Cobra. Here we go with your 8th category, DCEU. And your question. In the film Suicide Squad, Amanda Waller calls her new team of villain heroes by what name?
Oh, what? Wait, what's
They
the actual
need
name
your
of them?
coughing To explain it, 'cause they knew
Yeah,
it.
I got it.
This protein shake I made. Got a Vitamix?
No, huh?
So
yes,
we're some kind of Suicide Squad.
Not today.
2, 1. Barbarian.
Got it.
Task Force X.
Yes.
Whew,
Chance.
that took me a second. Yeah, Task Force
it is
X.
still
Task Force
a
X.
1-point lead
That's
here
one of those
for
if you know the
Cobra.
comic
8-7.
book.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Barbarian
and that's
only
that is an
so
advantage
far.
you have
Here's
if
the
you know
next
comics. Like some of these questions
Heroes
will come
and
to you
villains.
naturally.
Which 1991 film features the hero saying the following line?
Oh, yep.
What's it like working for a Nazi, Eddie? Does he pay you in dollars of Deutschmarks?
I got boom.
I love this movie.
And a little yank on the old suspenders after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow!
Oh, hey, I'll be here next week. Airplane food 5.
Wasn't there a video chronic on this
3,
one not too long
2,
ago?
1.
Or is it
Down.
coming or
Chance.
something?
I think it's coming.
Yes. And Mr. Barbarian.
The Rocketeer.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Rocketeer.
9-8.
The
And like you said,
Rocketeer.
Mark, now we
Rocketeer.
see ourselves somewhere.
PJ Campbell
been
classic.
before with Chance Ellison, and that is on the
It's
verge
one of
a
his favorites.
perfect round.
Oh yeah, he
If
loves
he
it.
hits it, he gets a bonus question, and only he will get the bonus question. Here we go. Here's the next question.
This is in the world of mixed bags. So who the heck knows what the question is going to be? So I'll just ask it.
Back to the Future.
Who plays Murphy?
Nope.
A terminally wounded cop who returns to the force as a powerful cyborg
Yep.
in 1987's RoboCop.
Oh shoot, what's his name?
Christian PJ Campbell, not in the Rocketeer, but I believe Scott Campbell was the star.
Oh, look at you. Give away all the answers. 5.
Right.
Billy Campbell.
4.
Yeah, look at
3,
Greg. Greg used to
2,
think of
Campbell
It's
Scott.
one of those names I'm gonna
Hands
feel
down,
dumb when I
please.
see it.
And starting with Chance for
Yeah.
a perfect round.
Peter Weller coming with me.
Peter Weller, yeah.
Yes, perfect round for Chance and Barbarian.
Peter Weller.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's one of those
9
names I
points for
know. I
Barbarian,
just
but
Peter Weller.
Chance Ellison has an
I don't
opportunity here to go up
recite
by
the name
2.
Peter Weller that
Should
often,
he
so it
get
doesn't
this
pop up in the
bonus
forefront of my
question?
mind.
Chance, this is for you and only
That's
you.
why
Are
it's
you
called
ready?
trivia, folks.
Understood.
Here you go. In the 2003 film Bulletproof Monk, which actor plays
Chow
the
Yun-fat.
lead character known as the monk?
Oh, it's a
with
bonus
no
question.
name?
I was like, wait, I was gonna write it down.
Chow Yun-fat.
Well, one more point. Chance
Yeah.
Ellison.
Chow Yun-fat.
11-9, taking a 2-point lead, doing exactly what he did against Robert Parker, now doing it against the Barbarian. All right,
Yeah.
Mark. So now
And,
we
yeah,
get
and I'll take this
into
opportunity
round
to,
number
you know,
2. How
Go
those
out, pat
look?
myself on the back. I would have gotten a
Scott
perfect
Campbell's
round
a
one
quarterback,
and the bonus
actually.
on that.
Anyway, round number 2.
When we tape, and I'm able to remember, like as we're taping it, like do I know that? Yeah. Did I know it when we taped it? Yeah.
And you're fate, because you spin the wheel. Once you settle on a category, You're going to hear 5 questions.
Yeah, IG.
Genre
I
of
say
the
IG is not our strong suit. Mainly, right now, it's mainly because I know both of us need to catch up on Harry Potter again.
Round number 2. So if
Yeah.
you're not sure of the answer or you're
Yeah, I mean, I just rewatched all the
We'll give you 4
the Lord of the Rings movies. Need to watch the Star Trek movies. Need to watch Harry Potter movies.
Yeah, they're dense. Like, it's hard to watch, especially for Lord of the Rings, because you have to watch the theatrical versions. You know, like because we don't pull information from the extended cuts.
Not yet.
It's going to be up to
Not
you.
yet. That's right.
Shannon, to decipher if you
Thank
want
God
to
there's
spin
no
that wheel
extended
first
Star Wars
or
cuts.
defer to
I think Christian said it was like next year
All right,
is
so we're gonna
the
move
extended
both
cuts,
the
and then
Barbarian
also the
and
Snyder cut will be.
out. Shannon, we're
We'll
gonna
have
give
questions
you,
asked from it.
60
I guess that's
seconds
fair.
to decide-
People-
to
Wait, they
decide
are going to
whether
start
or not
asking
you
questions
want to
from the
spin
extended cut
or defer.
and the Snyder cut. We got to watch all those
Chance,
too.
you're doing amazing, and you already know it.
Yeah, the Snyder cut's fair. I guess people put a bit big enough, you know, fit about it. Might as well get it involved for Schmoedown.
Keep moving, KM. Let's go.
Do it.
All right, so Chance is going to spin.
We don't
first.
have questions from
We'll
Superman 2,
make
the
this
Donner
point.
cut, though.
And now we will spin.
Why's it got to be a he?
I knew you were going to say that. I really did. I knew you were going to.
Look at her go, round and round.
Where's she going to go?
Don't slut shame the wheel.
Garth
Middle
dropped
order.
a funny one in
Middle
here.
order.
It hasn't popped up in our chat for
What would
some
you like to do?
reason
60 seconds starting
in StreamYard.
I think I can do better.
I wanted to pop it up though.
Let me spin again.
Our chat's delayed in the StreamYard.
All right, let's go. Spin
Yeah.
again. Whatever you get here, you got to take.
Yeah, there's kind of a significant delay in the StreamYard.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Spins a lot.
Yeah, I'm switching over to the
Heroes and Villains.
actual YouTube.
All right.
But yeah.
Heroes and Villains. So we're going
Ooh,
to
that's
move.
way behind.
You got this.
All right,
Listen
so
to the whole question.
all right. Chance, you're going to get 5 questions in Heroes and Villains. Are you ready?
I am.
There it
Here you
is.
go.
Every time I hear that, I think of the
In
Beach Boys song.
Fred, 2012. What is the name of the clan that has taken
That's-
over the entire building?
That's
where the film
Mama,
takes place?
Mama's crew.
Multiple choice.
Is it A, Blood
Mama
B,
Clan.
Red
Mama Clan.
Dragons?
Yeah.
C, the Mama Clan. D, Slow Mo Clan.
Slow mo's the drug they take.
Mama Clan.
That's correct for 1 point. All right, here you go. In Back to the Future, what item does Doc pack because he's not sure if it exists in the future?
Oh, and he leaves it in the car, and Marty takes it with him.
A, cotton underwear. B, paper.
Walkman?
C, Walkman. D, Pepsi.
Well, Marty has the Walkman with him. I guess underwear? I don't remember this.
One, I can do that once. A, cotton underwear. B, paper. C, Walkman. D, Pepsi.
Cotton underwear.
For 1 point, that's correct.
Yeah.
Multiple
That's
choices
the only one
around
that
the round
made
so
sense.
far, Christian.
Here's your third one. What was the name of the main villain in
Oh, try to forget that movie.
2004's Hellboy?
Rasputin.
Yeah.
2 points. All right.
Try to forget all Hellboys, honestly.
It's just a real person.
What superhero was the subject of a 90s movie and has the alter ego of Kit Walker?
Tank Girl?
Multiple choice.
That's a guess.
Is it A, the Shadow, B,
No.
Steel,
Phantom.
C, the Rocketeer, D, the Phantom?
This Shadow's Lamont Cranston.
It's not Steel.
Shadow.
It's Phantom.
Correct, Barbarian.
The Phantom.
Yeah.
You got to listen to the
Yeah.
whole thing. What superhero was the subject of a 90s movie?
I was
and has
saying,
the
it's not-
alter ego of Kit
Steel and
Walker?
Sean Henry
A, the
Irons.
Shadow,
Rocketeer
B,
was
Steel,
Cliff Secord.
C, the Rocketeer, D, the Phantom.
The Phantom.
That is correct for a 1 point steal.
Yeah.
All right. Final question here for Chance. Chance, in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, how did Henry Jones Sr. know that Elsa Schneider was a Nazi?
She talks in her sleep.
That is correct. 2 points. So Chance Ellison
She
battled
talks in
through,
her sleep.
has a little bit of a rough
Good
second round.
impression.
It's still fighting through with multiple
Very good
choice and sees himself with a 7-point lead over the Barbarian. Still strong 7 points there for Chance. All right, Chance,
Here's the
going to
thing, like,
top you out here for
the
a
way
moment.
that,
Bring
like,
back
the competitors
Gucci.
play,
Gucci
like
got 60
Barbarian
seconds to
is
talk
sitting
to the
there
Barbarian
focusing
starting
on
now.
stroking
First of all, great
Elvis.
first round.
while playing. To be able to do that, that's fantastic.
So
don't even worry about that.
The way I
Go
see
on.
something like that is it's kind of like if you have like something in your hands, you're kind of twitching with it. It helps you like process things in your mind. So that might just be where he's at this point with that.
Thank you.
Spin this.
Yeah, I had a roommate once that would constantly spin something. So I'm trying to find something in my hand. Like he would just have like something in his hand, or just like this, and he would just constantly spin like all day. It's like whatever he was doing, just spin something in his hand all day.
I usually have stuff like sitting here on my desk, and I like fidget with like little clips or something.
Yeah, I still got one of these bad boys.
Yeah, I got my fidget spinner somewhere.
Fidget spinner, yeah. I used to have a fidget cube.
I have the fidget cube.
Yeah, the cube that just have little clicky clacks on them.
I mean, we've seen what I can do with MCU before, but
Yep, right there.
I want to try a different one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't have to worry about taking it off the wheel for someone. So let's spin it again.
My little fidget cube, though.
Yeah.
Here we got a take.
I like how you did the.
Big spin right here, Christian. Could determine who's going to have the lead.
See,
going into
Andrew
round
Guy,
three, and it looks like it's going to be.
He's spinning his own wheel.
Soundtracks.
Scores.
Be like that. Be like that.
All right, so we're gonna drop out.
They like scores and soundtracks. Ooh, that's
bring
dangerous.
back
Especially since Ellison did a lot of multiple
All right,
choice there.
Mark, you're gonna
So-
ask. Sorry. All right, Barbarian. 5 questions in scores and
Someone feels
soundtracks.
confident
Mark?
when the other person's got
All
multiple
right,
choice a lot.
Barbarian, like Christian said, your category is scores and soundtracks. 2 points per question, unless you want to check the multiple choice. And question number 1. Hans Zimmer shared credit for the score of Batman Begins with which composer?
Elfman?
For Batman Begins?
Multiple choice.
Yeah.
Is it A, James Horner?
Nope, it's not.
B, James Newton Powell?
James Newton
C,
Howard.
James Howard. C, John Powell. D, Klaus Badell.
Is it John Powell?
That is incorrect. I'm going to go to Chance for the steal.
Yeah, Chance knows it.
it. Hans Zimmer shared credit for the score of Batman Begins with which composer? And then the multiple choice options: A, James Horner, B, James Newton Howard, C, John Powell, or D, Klaus Badell.
Taking that point right back, James Newton Howard.
That is correct for 1 point. That's a big steal.
Dwalling, give me Kalinowski.
So that's,
And now it allows the Barbarian to, at best, tie Chance going into round number 3. So quite a big steal there. But now we're back to the Barbarian for a 2-point question in the world of scores and soundtracks.
It's going to come down to it, isn't it?
Vindicated.
Vindicated.
Oh, Lord.
Professional.
That's a Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2. Oh, yeah.
Marvel movie.
Spider-Man 2.
Not the one with Nickelback.
Vindicated. I am selfish. I am wrong.
And we move on to your third question. Danny Elfman. And which other composer?
Hans Zimmer.
Credited for the score
just kidding.
of
Yeah.
Ultron.
No, so is it Silvestri?
For Age of Ultron?
Because
Ryan Tyler.
2 more points.
Okay, yeah, because I was like, I don't think
Sylvester
Silvestri.
tie things up going into round 3.
Because they brought him back for like Infinity War and Endgame.
Next query. This is your penultimate question in scores and soundtracks. The songs "Come On, Come In," "Newts," and "Everything Burns" were part of the soundtrack for what Marvel film?
Daredevil?
No, they would have put Evanescence in there.
Yeah, well, they were like
Choice.
half the songs on that soundtrack. They're actually only
Is
2,
it
but
A, Ghost Rider, B,
not
Fantastic
Daredevil.
Four 2005,
no, it is Daredevil because none of the rest of those had.
D, Daredevil.
You sure?
The rest of them were all scores. They weren't.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to go.
They weren't compilation songs.
That is incorrect. Chance, the
It's
question.
Daredevil.
The songs "Come On, Come In," "Newts," and "Everything Burns" were part of the soundtrack of what Marvel film? Is it A, Ghost Rider, B, Fantastic Four 2005,
Everything Burns?
C, Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance, or D, Daredevil?
I think that's the one that's throwing it off.
Soundtrack was Daredevil.
It was huge, but that is incorrect. Looking for Fantastic Four 2005.
In your face. In your face.
He's trying to get himself within 2.
You know,
He can get
saying the wrong answer with confidence is just as good.
Yeah, you gotta say it with confidence. You gotta just commit.
Who
It also just makes it
composed the
funnier.
score for Doctor Strange and
Michael Giacchino.
Spider-Man: Homecoming?
Michael Giacchino.
We are within 2 points, Christian. Chance Ellison
Albert.
I feel like I ordered one of those at Starbucks earlier today.
It was a tough round for both of them.
Michael
Or as late,
Giacchino.
as late to the party would say, it is Michael Giacchino.
Yeah.
This fight
Because
into
they
the
have met
third
him.
round, bringing back Bo.
Yeah.
That helps.
Yeah.
Round number 3, Mark.
I hope you get the name
What
right.
I guess classifies as a defensive struggle in Innergeekdom based on these competitors' know-how. Round number 3 will determine the match unless we go to sudden death overtime. Each competitor is going to give us a series of numbers. These numbers can range from 1 to 16.
Here's the thing. I do like that all the
Three
ads
numbers
were
from
stacked
each
at the
of you.
beginning, and we
Each
haven't
number
had a single one
corresponds to a different
since.
corner of
I just wish they weren't
Innergeekdom know-how.
stacked around your
Your first
promo while we
question
had
is
you
worth
on
2
here.
points.
Yeah.
First one is worth 3 points.
Yeah, I'd rather just get through like 2 minutes worth of ads at the top and then not have to deal with the rest of the episode.
Yeah.
So,
if we could choose.
Chance Ellison.
I think
you
the
enjoy
only composer I think we met was Tyler Bates.
Oh, really?
Three
Yeah.
numbers
Yeah, we,
from 1 to 16.
I did like a
You
little
want
video with him in it, actually.
Oh, cool.
I'm gonna go.
It's pretty cool.
We both got copies of the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack on record. Yeah, you've got yours in the frame signed back there.
Yeah, it's right there.
Going to go with my current score, 16, which is 1 and 6. And then for my third number, I will go with 16 itself.
1, 6, and 16. I see.
Yeah, Bobby,
Good
good
play.
luck about that one.
Great numbers.
All right, 1, 6, and 16. All right, so we're going to start with Shannon.
I love the nonchalant comments about how good the number picking is.
Yeah. I love Roxy. Roxy always says sexy numbers. That's so great.
You have all your JTEs left. Take your time. Listen. You got.
I just like that we have like all managers with very dynamic personalities.
Yeah. It's very true. Like I do love that all the managers are so distinct from one another. Like so all the interactions are just great.
Yeah, even trading out Burnett for Knapsack. I mean, Ken has a dynamic personality too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Start answering some questions. You know what happens with that fiver. Let's get it.
All right.
There's only a 2-point difference though, so this
out of
is
there, and Shannon.
this is still good.
Yeah, this is close enough where it could be anyone's game still.
Barbarian, you chose category number 1 for your 2-pointer. Category number 1, Indiana Jones. In Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, what 2-word phrase does Indy say to the other Zeppelin passengers after he throws Colonel Vogel out the window?
Yeah.
No ticket.
No ticket. Yeah.
correct.
Oh, that's
2
right.
No ticket.
Kevin Smith quotes that in Dogma. That's right.
Now Chance Ellison will have an opportunity to take the lead.
That's
right
like
back
one of
to
Silent Bob's only lines in that movie.
Yes,
Yeah.
I believe Get Out was a Jordan Peele.
corresponds to the world of Wizarding.
Not in
The
Innergeekdom.
Wizarding world.
The 2 words were Jordan Peele.
Well, I was trying to be funny instead of actually sit and think about it.
Yeah.
What is the name of the popular sweets that look like Muggle jelly beans but contain flavors like
the
grass,
nasty
oatmeal, and rotten
jelly
egg?
bellies.
Birdie Bots, every flavor beans.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
So I said the real life one. The real life one is the jelly bellies that make the
earwax.
jelly beans.
Yeah.
What's to eat a vomit jelly bean? That's gross.
Yeah. They're just like they're basically just like failed flavors.
Barbarian.
Like pepperoni pizza.
There you go. Who
That
said
one might
it?
actually be kind of good.
Quotes. Here you go. All right. What MCU villain said? Arrogance may not be a uniquely American trait, but I must say, you do it better than anyone.
Red Skull.
Johann Schmidt, the Red Skull.
That is correct for 3 points.
There's some
No extra points.
Massive 3
There's some
points
key
there.
context in there.
Hello.
Big shot.
Uh-oh.
All right. So now Chance looking to take his lead right
I feel
back.
scared.
He is looking to hit his 3-pointer. And he chose category number 2, Mark.
Surprise.
Category number 2.
That's right, Chris. You may have heard of this category. It's called Star Wars.
That's right.
And for 3 points, Chance, and to regain the lead, your question in a galaxy far, far away. Who voices the character of Rio Durant, a four-limbed Argonian who is in
John Favreau.
Beckett's crew in Solo?
John Favreau.
I was like, Chef.
Yeah.
3 points and Chance.
Before I went Iron Man.
Here we are. They're going toe to toe, back and forth, and now the Barbarian has an opportunity to first chance to hit his 5. However, if he misses the 5-pointer mark, then Chance Ellison will be awaiting either Mike Kalinowski or Alex Damon in the finals of the IG tournament. All right, Barbarian, for your 5-pointer, you chose category number 16. 16. You got yourself mixed bag. Mixed bag. Here you go.
That's
what 2014 film has the rare distinction of serving as a prequel, midquel, and sequel to its 2006 predecessor?
14.
Yeah. Now this is a 5-pointer. This is a pointer.
Is it the first Hobbit?
5.
Yeah, probably.
JTE.
2. Second one.
No, not really.
Here you go. What 2014
Not
film
really a
has the
sequel.
rare distinction of serving as a prequel, a midquel, and a sequel to its 2006?
Fantastic Beasts.
It's not a sequel, so it's not Hobbit. And it would be the whole trilogy that would end up being.
You said prequel, sequel, and
No, it's a sequel because Bilbo is talking back about.
Well,
yeah, but that happens.
I'm gonna go with X-Men: Days of Future Past.
And your winner, advancing
Wow.
to the finals.
What was
the
it?
Cobra, Chance Ellison. 300 Rise of an Empire.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Barbarian.
Ooh.
Top down here from Owen
It
here.
counts. It's a complicated movie, but that is hard just because that movie didn't have a lot of fanfare when it came out.
Yeah.
And it's also it's very wonky. Narrative structure.
The first person to hand Chance Ellison a loss. How are you feeling here, Shannon? He could be playing against Mike Kalinowski should Mike win tomorrow against Damon.
Of
That would be so fun.
I have been saying since day one that this is Chance's time. He's talented. He knows
Is this where we got
stuff.
Mike
He
pop up
works
in the background
harder
going,
than
"Oh, buddy,
anyone
look at that"?
I knew he could pull it off. He already took care of Parker. This
I wanted to walk
is
on
just a
screen with another
bonus.
ice cream cone.
Chance, I cannot.
He always constantly has something in his mouth. Like, just getting personally.
Never understand.
Mike Kalinowski, the Brad Pitt of
Black
Movie
heart
Trivia
is just
Schmoedown.
turning.
Oh my god, that's so true. Yeah.
I've never thought I could love like anything.
Chance, you are 3-1 now.
He's slipping
You
out.
have defeated the likes of
Constantly out with the
Paul Oyama,
Ice D.
Robert Parker, and now the Barbarian. These are 3 solid competitors here.
Oh, yeah.
How are you feeling? The second round was a little rough. You put up a really good fight here too, but you stayed strong, and now you look at your first finals. How are you feeling?
I feel great, Chris. You know what's funny when you post the bracket the first time, everyone's like, "Oh,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I've seen that logic, in the comments and saying it. I think the primary issue with that is just the fact that
thank you for that, and
seem to word it that the predecessor question implies it's the directly previous film, and on top of that, as far as saying the midpool, say it takes place at the events of Last Stand, but it's alternate events, so it's not taking place during the events of the of Last Stand. It's like erasing those events and saying those events in fact did not happen, they don't exist anymore. So
yes,
so that had to be it's so tricky though.
Yeah, it's very tricky.
But he didn't challenge it.
Yeah, didn't challenge it.
He could have challenged it. He didn't choose to challenge it. That's the biggest thing of it.
So it basically comes down to, yeah.
I think the key word there is that midquel piece is that it doesn't really happen simultaneously necessarily. It is somewhat a prequel and somewhat a sequel, but
midquel is those films where they cut to another film, it's the second part, but it's take place on the same day, but from a different character's perspective.
Like the Saw movies.
Yeah, Saw movies, Fast 6, or the one where you find out that Hans is still alive. Sort of. Fast 3 technically takes place in the future.
Yeah, I think that just means the next 3 after that are prequels to that film.
Yeah,
because they don't take place at the same time though.
No. But I'm saying it's prequels and sequels for Fast 4 and 5.
So
sequels.
An example of a theoretical midquel that I remember that was in talks of happening was so when Cloverfield came out, they were saying that they
I'm back.
when Cloverfield was coming out, they were saying that they want to make a sequel, but that's going to take place during the same night, just from a different person's perspective with a different camera. So that would be a midquel because it'd be the same events,
Is that
like the same day.
That is so hyper specific.
Yeah.
If that's what you're saying.
That's-
A sequel has to be something that takes place the same day.
Yeah, like the same events of the first film, just like from a different perspective.
Then
So
how
that
do that?
that's like Saw 3 and Saw 4 take place at the same time?
And Jigsaw technically takes place as a because remember, it turns out that guy was from the first one. It turns out that Jigsaw.
Jigsaw was its own midquel movie then. Because
oh my gosh.
It's all his own midquel.
So yeah.
And Endgame probably counts.
Yeah, midquel, like the events of like other films, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is a great. I'm not saying that the question is pretty good. The thing is, it's just like it leaves itself up to interpretation. And had he challenged it, he might have been able to make a compelling case.
Yeah.
And
it's possible.
Yeah, but like we'll never know.
Basically, anyone who's running a movie YouTube channel, this would be a fantastic topic to expound upon in a video if they wanted to.
Yeah.
Also, we can't get off that subject without mentioning the most famous one, Lion King 1.5.
Oh yeah.
That's more good, but yeah.
Oh wait, Rashomon? Well, it's only one movie, but Rashomon is like it's a prequel and midquel and sequel. There's other one. I want to think about this for a second. There's other examples of stuff that happen, and it's the big reveal, the big hook, is it takes place simultaneously.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely like a sure handful. Definitely not a whole lot, but yeah, some that we probably pull from.
So, but it'd have to be something that then also has a sequel to that, because it can't just be one alone. Because the point is, it has to be a prequel and a sequel and a midquel. Okay, the last one. So Jigsaw can count. Sequel, the last one.
Yeah, we should talk about this on our channel.
Anyway, on what? You and Eric discussed the hypotheticals of movie film logic.
Yeah, let's do that.
The whole concept just melts my brain. My brain can't stand it. All right, I'm going to continue playing.
All of these greatest players that you guys love so much, your Parkers and your Smets and your Barbarians, the undefeatable players, Barbarian may never lose another match again. But just like everyone that has come before him, they're always going to have that one loss, and it's always going to be from a member of Korruption, so suck on that.
They could have challenged it, but
certainly
would have lost it. But yeah, it would have at least been worth a shot to challenge it.
Especially if it's like the last question, so to speak.
Might as well.
Now knowing that you play the winner of Kalinowski Damon, do you maybe take a break from your study partner and say, okay, you go take this one, champ. I'm just going to go chill over here. Or is it business as usual in Kalinowski's prep?
Oh, business as usual. I mean, I'm going to do everything I can in my power to help beat Damon. And then after that,
they're just quizzing each other before they actually
that's
face
a good
off.
question though too, because look, you guys have worked. You've been with Mike since your first day in this league. He brought you in the league in during Anarchy. You played together. You won championship together. You're going to be playing for the team's championship again together. Is it something? I know obviously for the faction, you guys both want to get to the finals because you could potentially even take over first place with a couple more victories here. But is it a little bittersweet that you might have to face your partner and potentially stop his journey from getting back to that match to get his third Innergeekdom championship?
Look, I'm not. I know what this looks like. Everything I am in this league is because of Mike. I owe it all to him. So it'd be very bittersweet to be in the middle, but it'd be great because it's not enemies going after each other. It's two of the closest friends in this league, and not to mention, there's not going to be any bad blood because we're not like these other factions like the Fin Stock Exchange. We're just a giant ego factory. Because we are a team. We are Korruption. We are we. And whoever wins, we'll take that belt back.
All right. Listen, Chance, I got to congratulate you here.
Roka's got something to say about that, I'm sure.
You are definitely the story of the tournament because, like Mike said himself, everyone was saying, well, the finals are going to be Mike and Chance.
Mid-quill.
The other side of that, though, is Alex Damon. Alex Damon is kind of doing what you're doing on the other side of that bracket right now, and he is the Star Wars champion. So as much as we can say, oh yeah, it could be a Korruption final, Alex Damon might have something to say about that. So what would you say if it was not Mike and it's Alex Damon that you're going to be playing tomorrow? How would you feel about that match?
Oh, beating Damon's going to be the easy part. Like that's going to be the easy part. I will take out Damon.
Talking about confidence. There you go.
before I take
Well,
on Mike.
the thing
But, you
is
know,
at
Mike,
this
that's not
point,
All right, Shannon. So
Chance has been doing
everyone was saying that the
fantastic in
Finstock
this.
Exchange was going to be impossible.
Yeah, but if
to
Damon
catch up
beats
to. They had
Kalinowski,
too big
that's
of a
not-
lead. Well, with Laura Kelly's performance in the Star Wars tournament,
I don't know if
Chance
that'd be-
Ellison's
that's the really
performance
the
here
easy
in
part at that
Innergeekdom,
point.
and with Mike knocking a win by Mike tomorrow, puts you guys very close, if not in first place. How are you feeling about this?
I'm feeling exactly how I should. This is exactly what I have been saying from day one, that this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Everyone thought I would be worried. Everyone's corruption sucks, this and that. And never will I let that bother me because I understand that this is a long game. I drafted 3 incredible players to cover all of my bases. They're triple threats. They're absolutely amazing. And we're going to be sitting high and pretty at the end of this tournament, just where we belong.
All right. Well, thank you again, Chance.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
still rub it in that y'all are all in
Chance
California
Ellison
and you can be
defeating
sitting
the
high.
Barbarian here.
Here in
by a
Texas,
score
we
of
can't.
23 to 21.
Boo.
I'm going to drop you guys out here at the
Boo.
moment and bring back both Bobby Gucci and the Barbarian. Look, Gooch, this is something you guys are not used to, and that's being in the loser circle. This is, and especially Barbarian, this is his first loss in any division, but it wasn't a easy one by Chance here. Barbarian easily gave him his best fight so far. How are you feeling about the performance of the Barbarian in this match?
I mean, look, overall, I couldn't be happier. I mean, the man had about
Put up a
6
good game.
weeks to prepare for something that he
Yeah.
relatively knew nothing about. And to sit back and, beat Lavick and beat Humphrey and get 7 points for his team, I couldn't be more proud of the guy. The fight he gave here.
I mean, if you're
you know,
throwing a rookie into a tournament and he gets to the
wanted Chance to get heroes
semifinals, you
and
don't really
villains,
have
got
that
it.
much
The
to
movie
complain about,
stumbled
honestly.
there. We were studying
No.
scores and soundtracks repeatedly. Those are tough questions. Check down.
And that's
on
not even
couple
just
of
a
things.
rookie in IG. That's
I
just
mean, look,
a
the ball
general
didn't go our
rookie
way
to
this
the
time,
whole
and I get that.
the whole
And,
game.
Chance played a good game, and he's very resilient. But that was our game. We had that. We had it, and Barbarian will tell you we should have won that game. It was not more Chance winning. It was us, losing for the most part.
Barbarian. So this is you said it going into this match. Chance was someone you knew you were going to have to scrap up against. And there was a couple of back and forth. That second round was shaky for kind of both you guys, but it was just the very end. It was that 5-pointer that just kind of tied you up. How are you feeling about your overall performance here today?
I feel frustrated because I know I have it in me to be the Innergeekdom champion, and I guess I'm just gonna have to wait till next year to do that. Chance played a good game today. I will congratulate him on that victory, as will Elvis. It reminds me of that sport the American public plays with their feet.
I was basically considering
the ball feet game,
info.
where it bounces on the tip, it goes one way or the
Put
other.
like little sound effects in there.
This match, it did not go our way.
Didn't go your way, but this can be answered by either the Barbarian or by his manager, Gucci verse. When you look at the landscape of the rest of this season, there's way more matches to be played, maybe not necessarily in this tournament. So where does the focus turn for the Barbarian now for the foreseeable future?
Singles.
What he's good at, what he's the best at, which is singles and tag team. I mean, like I said, he bent over backwards and went on a limb here for the Finstock Exchange, and he's a team player and always will be. And like I said, he got us 7 points here, and he wasn't even in our Innergeekdom top 5 to start the year. And to do something like this and give us these points is something that we were looking for. And he guaranteed that he would get at least 2 wins, and that's exactly what he did. And I can't, like I said, everybody in the exchange couldn't be more proud of the man for stepping up and taking a chance.
Well, the Barbarian, Finstock mentions the singles tournament. We have the singles tournament right around the corner here. You have been announced as one of the competitors as the 4 members that are going into the tournament. How are you feeling about your chances against the rest of the league here in singles? And because of this, we also know that Chance Ellison
After he lost to Chance, you want to ask him how his
do you
chances
feel
are.
about
That's a
potentially
low,
playing
bro.
him in that
Opportunity.
tournament should you guys both make it?
I mean, Ellison Barbarian 2 is going to be a match that you should book because that's going to be one where Elvis and I are out for blood.
Fair enough. All right. So the Barbarian, thank you, and Bobby Gucci. Sorry for the loss here today, guys. I'm sure we'll see very, very soon. But the Finstock Exchange is out of the Innergeekdom Tournament, and now it is just Korruption and the Rockstars. That's right, because you have Chance Ellison in the finals. He will await tomorrow's winner. Will it be his team partner?
Did anybody have that on their bracket with
two-time
Chance
Innergeekdom
making it to the
champion,
finals?
Mike the Killer KO Kalinowski?
I wonder.
Or will it be the longest reigning champion in any division we've ever had, Star Wars reigning champion Alex the Demon Damon, who is also undefeated in the Innergeekdom division, sitting high at 3-0. So who is going to win? Who is going to win that match? Find out tomorrow, and you can find out if you subscribe to this channel, youtube.com/the Schmoedown. Do it.
That's right. And Christian,
let the English see you do it. I got to it.
Every other faction is now
got to it before him.
Because the Finstock Exchange, at least for the rest of this tournament, not going to be able to rack up any more points to further their lead. But now I think a lot of their sights are going to be squarely at Korruption, because we'll see how this Kalinowski-Damon match plays out, but it could be Korruption on Korruption, and therefore Korruption's going to get even more points.
This is a massive match.
Like that Korruption on Korruption action there.
Damon has almost single-handedly got them like 90% of their points. And so if he's able to do it and able to get himself to the finals, this keeps them in the game. But
there is none.
If Korruption gets both Mike and Chance into the finals, they're not just playing for catch-up. They're playing for first place. They're playing for
mustard.
Taking over first place. This is something massive for them right now.
They're playing for
and
mayo.
They have an opportunity
Well,
to become the top dogs. And
I'll play for mayo. I love
Shannon
mayo.
said earlier, I remember reading the comments about Korruption stinks. They're in last place. Shannon did everything.
Corruption stinks. They're rising up the ranks.
The new competitors, their matches, and some of them delivered, some of them didn't. And then Laura Kelly does what she does in Star Wars, and then Mike and Chance out the gates are able to deliver on all these points. And if they can get them, if Mike gets himself to the finals tomorrow, wow, this is massive.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at Chance Ellison. We talked about the
Innergeekdom finals being a
and
Korruption
people like
civil
Robert
war.
Parker in the pre-show, where
We use the term
they're
civil
just
war a
the
lot
kind of
here.
Folks that you have to assume are going to get a perfect round number one.
Small, like some of these.
We just saw that from Chance Ellison. I think he is now one of those guys that everybody else is going to look at and say, you cannot spot this guy any points. He might steal some from you. You got to come in ready to play a perfect game if you want to knock off the Cobra.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, join us. Join us tomorrow for the big match to find out who Chance Ellison will play. Once again, will it be Alex Damon or it will be Mike Kalinowski? And also, do not forget that right around the corner here on our first pay-per-view back, July 31st, John Roca, Ethan Irwin, the number one contender match to find out who faces Dan Murrell for that championship. Join the stream. Become a patron today. Patreon.com/Schmoedown.
Oh, here comes another ad.
I'm Christian Harloff.
Right at the end.
See you next time.
I mean, there wasn't any more to that, right?
Shorno does sound good.
Yeah, you missed there's actually the scene after where Craig joins Korruption.
Yeah.
DiGiorno has 7 delicious crusts, and
I don't think he was serious about that.
But now I want pizza.
Yeah, I just want to let's just react to some pizza real quick. Looks delicious.
So I'm trying to be good on a diet and lifting weights and stuff. And
look,
yeah.
there's nothing. Okay.
Just your Sailor Moon recommendations.
Yeah. What was it? What did it say?
It's what YouTube recommends for your YouTube account. So we get to see kind of like an insight as to what else you watch when you're not watching Schmoedown.
Oh yeah. It was that Joffy episode. Anyway. It's actually, I love that channel. Anyway. See you here right there.
So yeah, quite possibly we could be looking at a Korruption versus Korruption Civil War type of match. Which that would be fantastic to see. But I also the idea.
We say Civil War. We say Civil War. They probably say just like total domination.
Yeah. But I also like the idea that we have where you had Alex Damon, who's champion of Star Wars, has been champion of Star Wars, has just been nicely sitting in Star Wars, and he's like, I want to play more games rather than just sit here waiting for someone to challenge me for the Star Wars belt. I think I'll go hop over onto IG and see how I do over there. And then he's just been dominating all through that as well. Yeah. I'm starting to wonder, like, from what we've seen from Damon, could he be the type of person that he really could just dominate anything he jumps into? Like, if he was to go from IG, if he was able to jump into the singles tournament, and then he finds himself a team member and he jumps in the teams tournament, could he hold all 4 belts? Is this the type of person that could do that kind of a run?
I don't know if you've heard Roxy's insight on that. He was talking about the idea that he wouldn't mind jumping into singles if she wanted him in there.
Wow.
He's apparently like fully committed to the game as a whole now. So
yeah, I mean, him and Molly, like I know they've been committed to the game. Like they wouldn't be here if they weren't, and he wouldn't be holding the title for 2 years if he wasn't. But they definitely shown like a new level of commitment. Like he was clearly hungry to get into the game to play more matches because he just wanted to. And now Molly's over at POV, like as another co-host, and because she just wanted to talk more about Schmoedown. And for a long time when they first started doing it, I thought they were kind of like detached from the game, not in an insulting way, but just I thought that it was something that they probably did when they could, and like they were like happy to show up and like win when he had to play. But no, it's really nice to see that they are like so in love with the show as much as like we all are. That they just really want to just be a part of it, like in any capacity.
Yeah, and so on that note, I want to bring this back up real quick. If you look at our bracket, we for some reason have chosen Alex Damon over Kalinowski for the next match. Now, Eric obviously knows which one of those is actually going to be there.
Yes.
But for us, it's very hard to kind of give an argument as to why we feel like Kalinowski won't win this time. Because he is typically the smart money.
Yeah.
Unless you're facing Rachel Cushing. But
yeah. So what is your reasoning? Or how can, so you guys are pulling for Damon, obviously. What's your logic behind that? Say if we're coming down to just brass tacks between the two of them, what kind of advantage do you think Damon has over Kalinowski?
I would say if you're looking at it, I mean, first of all, you look at the momentum Damon has right now. Kalinowski is no stranger to having momentum in a lot of these things. So I don't know if the momentum itself really gives him a lot of fire for his next match as much as just wanting to prove people wrong, essentially. But Damon, however, I think is someone who could probably work off of the momentum. We see where he's come from, where he's going. He's somebody with a championship mindset already. Again, not saying Kalinowski doesn't have that, because he obviously does. But on top of that, we're looking at I'm also looking at Damon's just flat out dominance in multiple categories within the Innergeekdom. I mean, he's pretty much got Lord of the Rings. He's obviously got Star Wars on lock. He's doing killer in Star Trek. He's got maybe just a little bit more studying that he necessarily needs to do in order to be completely and fully well-rounded. I give him the slight edge. It might just come down, honestly, to kind of a feeling where it's like, hey, I think he's just going to edge him out this time.
Yeah. And one thing, I'm trying to, like Garth says, not trying to give away anything. But one thing I do remember, at least going into this, as far as how I felt when the match was before we taped it, was just that it's interesting coming into this because there are competitors that have strengths and weaknesses and highs and lows. But Damon and Kalinowski are two competitors that have full of silver bullets in their arsenal. Damon has Star Wars. If he hits Star Wars, he's good. If Kalinowski hits DC, he's good. There are definitely strong competitors in this league, but a lot, you can't say that for everyone. You can't say that they just they have that entire thing on lock because that's their life and blood. That's everything they do and know. So that is interesting to know that both those competitors facing each other have two aces in the hole in that sense.
Mm-hmm. And so I think that's going to be a match that you're going to see come down to wheel spin, pretty much.
Yeah.
Do they hit their categories or not? And that's probably going to be the deciding factor there.
Yeah. And who knows? Damon, he's definitely proved himself for sure. But some might say that, he did get a lucky pull picking Star Wars into first 5-pointer against Hannah. like that. I think that definitely did save him in some sense. He probably could have gotten another 5-pointer in some other category that he knew, but Star Wars, as I said, just silver bullet. Like he knows that if you know he gets Star Wars, he's going to get it. Like, period.
And I think we also know he's really good at Middle Earth.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah, as we saw.
I think it's
as I saw. I had to sit there and edit it for like 4 hours.
Ooh, I think it's one of those situations though where it's like we say like, oh, he got a lucky wheel spin. Well, for Damon being as knowledgeable as he is in Star Wars, you can call it a lucky wheel spin. It's lucky only in the sense that it's the category you're good at, but how much time and effort has any one of these competitors put in whatever category they're the strongest in? And I don't know if you really want to call it luck as much as just a lot of hard work and determination to get that good at one specific category.
Yeah, and that's very true. Luck more in the sense of like the randomization of the numbers as opposed to like your talent or your skill. Because like Damon obviously works very hard to be the champion that he is. It's just more in the sense that the wheel spins the way it's going to spin, like and your numbers are going to drop the way they drop, and so like sometimes it's hard. I think it is impossible to know everything. So like the Schmoedown does have like an element of luck to it, which is I think adds to the fun of it. Yeah, I think it's nice to have like a randomized element that no one could really prepare for.
What I'm interested in, and going back to just touching on what you do and whatnot with editing the Schmoedown, is how often do you just stop? I mean, I know we're not doing these in studio right now, so typically in studio you would mostly be there pretty much all the time anyway, as much as possible, and then so you'd be seeing these play out firsthand. But these are all happening virtually, which means you don't necessarily get to see them, I guess, until after they've already done the recording.
No, I am in the recording. So like, like the same way streaming, I don't think it's giving too much inside baseball, but like when we do the recordings, like we're able to have like the staff involved to make sure everything looks good. It's like going according to plan. PJ is there with us to double check things. That's just to make sure the production it goes off without a hitch, because it's easier and safer to have us involved as it's taping as opposed to something go wrong after the fact, then we catch it.
Okay, so that's what I was curious about, because at the same time, like I wonder if you get the footage after it's technically already been shot, then you're just kind of like, well, I'll edit this in a minute.
Yeah, it's much, exactly, yeah. So it's much, it's way more fun for me to watch as it's happening, and then also to edit it after the fact with that in mind, so I know what to expect as I'm going to do it.
Yeah,
I like Garth's question in here.
Yeah.
Does Eric have a flashing red light when he's editing so none of you walk in on him? So like Andres or Drew can't walk in. Hey, Eric, got a question real quick. Oh.
Yeah. I mean, spoilers are what they are amongst competitors. Like I think obviously the factions like have to share information with each other to prepare for like what they have to do next. I try to keep a tight lid on what I can for the spoilers and stuff like that. But usually I just I have my computer facing like a certain angle, so like people can't exactly see what I'm doing at all times, like when I'm working out there. Also, can you highlight Garth's comment before that, the longer one? It says if Eric does wind up, Eric, if it, Kim Burns
if it does wind up Kalinowski versus Chance. I hope the promo is done black and white like a Kim Burns movie about the Civil War, maybe with a letter from Mike to Shannon. My dear Shannon, that is fantastic.
Yeah, if that doesn't end up happening, that's something you got to keep in mind for the future. That's hilarious.
Yeah, and then I could use a lot of the great photos that Dwayne and Joey have taken over the last year.
That's great.
Yeah.
As far as this match goes, I mean, like we look at this, we look at, I mean, what we had here, we had Chance just doing those Chance things that he's been doing this whole tournament.
Chance has been wrecking shop. I mean, this is I would say this is a whole new Chance from what we've seen before.
Yeah.
He's been good. He's been very good. But this is a whole new like level of stepping up, and unfortunately, and it sounds like a lot of other people may have underestimated him going into this championship. We weren't sleeping this time because that's what we called Chance for winning this.
Yeah.
But I knew I was having a feeling that was going to be close, and that's what it was.
Yeah, absolutely. And like Chance has definitely put in the work, but like he has been, I think, a top level competitor since like he's come into the league. He's just had a very like rough go in tournaments specifically. Like his first tournament was against Ethan Irwin, and he lost to that. And Ethan went on to win the championship. The next tournament last year was against Bibbs in the tournament, and he lost against that by one question. Like he played a completely perfect game until his 5-pointer, and that was it. And that's all it took. So yeah, the Chance like has definitely had the ability to go far. He just had like a very bad go of it, and I think this year is very indicative of what he has inside of him. And so like I am very happy to see him as a friend, of course, because I see him a lot when he comes here, but as like a competitor, to see him get his due, from a competitive standpoint.
And I think it's also interesting because you hear the I know they've talked about it like on Backstage and on SCN Live and everything, where they've talked about how a lot of these teams have your A player and your B player, and they've come out and said like honestly, Mike is the B player on the team. And that's not necessarily a like something that's like, oh, you're a B player, therefore you're under the A player, but it's where does each person fit on their team? Chance is a heavy knowledge guy, not as much the theatrics, whereas Mike is maybe just a little bit more in theatrics than he is his knowledge. He's a very knowledgeable player, but when it comes to that, I mean, that's why you go back to the family. I know this fool's familiar with the family. You had
what are you talking about?
You had Andrew Guy, who is the B player because he's more into the theatrics, whereas Drew McWeeny was the powerhouse of knowledge.
Yeah.
So I think that's just a really interesting dynamic that you have with Korruption, where you have Chance that just proves that Chance is a competitor that you don't want to mess around with.
Yeah, it's the same for like most of the top teams. Like it was the same with Roca and Merle. Like Roca's the hype man, and Roca's like Merle's kind of like the straight knowledge guy. Same with like Clark and Rachel. Like they both leaned into the theatrics, but Rachel was the trained actor. Clark was the trained actor. Rachel was the one with like the kind of like the huge broad knowledge. They all kind of like that dynamic is always there. For like some of the top teams that we have, and you'll see that it balances them out very well. And like, I think Mike will tell you, I think he's publicly said like on many shows that he does believe Chance to be the stronger player on the team. Like he has said that publicly, and so I think he sticks to that. As far as IG goes, I don't know how he feels about that. Like because Mike,
that's his baby.
Yeah, that's his bread and butter. So like I think he definitely wants to win. He wants to get to as far as he can. So like I think if he does face Chance in the end, like I think he's gonna give him everything he has. Yeah.
I think what's interesting is you take that dynamic though, real quick, and if you look at the teams that have emerged this year, just to speak on them real quick, just because it's on my mind. You look at like Deep 13. I'd say both those guys are A players.
Yeah.
But then you got even the Pride, Ben and Rachel. Like who's the B and who's the A? They're both pretty good.
Yeah, and I think the goal like for any good team is to like be an A and a B, but not necessarily an A and B, but more like a left and a right. Like it's a balance, something that you guys share equal strengths and weaknesses with, like so that way it's a rounded element, yin and a yang type of thing, as opposed to one over the other.
Kind of like what we were talking about, or a lot of people were talking about actually, is like we didn't want to partner Rachel Silverstreeny with Janine the Machine, even though it sounds like it would be a fantastic team. They're both pretty much circling the same knowledge base. They're really quite equal in knowledge. So therefore it might not be the most dynamic team.
I mean, I remember back before the draft, people were saying like they would love to have seen Rachel Silverstreeny with Haley Fouch. I think that would have been like a really great team because Haley Fouch is like super strong in new releases. Like she's like in the industry. Rachel has like a really like deep core knowledge about the things that she knows, and so like I think there's a good balance between those two. But yeah, this whole draft is like a big puzzle for like a lot of the managers to kind of see like what are the pawns that can get, and then not only are they just pawns to put into a chessboard, but that they have to work together in certain different dynamics and different elements to work together to actually obtain a victory.
Yeah. And then we got Garth asking the question that's on at least a couple people's minds. Who is the A and who's the B of Team Cinefanatics? There's the A right there. There's the powerhouse of knowledge is right there, and I'm the I would be the B. I'd be the fun theatrical guy.
Yeah, I mean, you said Chris, right? That you're in the story about how Robert got to play last year. Was that Christian asked you guys like which one of you is the stronger?
Why does everyone keep saying I played last year? I don't remember. I have no memory of this at all whatsoever. Anyways. We're going to start wrapping this up pretty soon. If any of y'all in the chat got like some last minute questions y'all want to get in, go ahead and throw those into the chat so we can get those out pretty soon. Let's go ahead and start with plugs. We will start with our guest, Eric, if you got stuff to plug, which I'm pretty sure you do.
Of course, like I do, obviously, the Schmoedown, which you guys all know and love. So I always like to plug that since that's a big thing. We're always trying to market and push everyone, especially since we have so many fun things coming up this next month. Huge month of 4 matches a week for the singles tournament, and was it 8, 9 live events happening? Yeah, it's like the from the header and the undercard. It's like double level every weekend for the next month. Personally, though, we I also do a Video Chronic pop culture quiz with my good friend Video Joe every Monday and Thursday, which is tonight. So after this, in a couple of hours, I will be jumping on and we'll be doing our Christmas in July extravaganza, still continuing with Nightmare Before Christmas, Robert's favorite movie. And I think the remainder of this month will be Christmas in July, and then we'll be getting back into the swing of other movies that we have lined up. And that's the main thing that we do together. And it's very fun. You can find me on social media at NerdChronic across Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff.
Yeah. Let's see. As for us, of course, there's this channel. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe to this channel. We do, again, have Patreon. We have our Patreon. So go to patreon.com/cinefanatics. Hop on the tier that you want to hop on. The $10 tier, you do get the movie watch along, which coming up this weekend, this Saturday at 8:30 p.m. Central Time, we will be doing the watch along of X-Men.
Oh yeah,
this is gonna be fun. This I put on social media that this is one of my most hyped comic book movies ever when I was younger. For example, I used to have all the X-Men figures, and I used to imagine if I was using these figures to create what I believe would be the X-Men movie.
Yeah.
So it always, every time I played with them, I would always start with Wolverine, parachuting in to just wreck shop at some place or whatever. I don't know, but I'm very much I loved X-Men as a kid. One of my favorite comic books, cartoons. I loved it. So very eager to talk X-Men this Saturday. So again, if you're on the $10 tier on our Patreon, you'll be able to watch that as well.
We absolutely would love everybody in the world to jump on the Patreon, because we've got some big stuff planned on this channel, and the only way we're going to be able to do it is if we get all the support from anybody who is willing to give it. That's a big future, bunch of new series and different kinds of things we want to start trying out, and we definitely ask you for the support out there, anybody who's out there willing to give it. So it's going to be, we're hoping that these movie watch alongs, what we have time to be able to do right now on the Patreon, is good value for those of you out there. So
one of the things that we're doing to kind of help with the ability to bring new content is moving these Schmoedown reactions to a live stream format, as we're doing right now. That way it's going to free up some time to be able to focus on creating new content that other people will hopefully be able to jump on, and enjoy. So yes, like this, we are doing the live stream for the match tomorrow night, which will be Kalinowski versus Alex Damon. Tomorrow night, we will be joined by our special guest. It's going to be, from a certain point of views, Jake Berlin. Nice. Is going to be joining us tomorrow. So we're going to have we're going to have a fellow reactor is going to be on here giving some insight on his point of view as well. A certain one. So looking for, I actually did not plan to say it that way. It just came out. I was like, oh, that works. I like that.
Just the way his brain works, guys.
Yeah. So that's going to be fun tomorrow night. So make sure you come back, join us. I believe, what time is that tomorrow night?
I believe we are doing it. So it is, I believe, 5:30 our time.
5:30 Central Time.
Yeah, 5:30.
So that will be 3:30 Pacific Time, 6:30 Eastern.
That'll be fresh after the match premieres on YouTube. So right after you're done watching the match over on the Schmoedown Entertainment Network, you want to come over here and hang out with us and Jake to watch it then.
Yeah,
along with us.
Yep. And then, of course, there's also Tuesday nights, 9:30 p.m. on this very channel is the Tagline. That is where we talk about movies. We've got adjustments coming to the Tagline as well. Also, again, kind of in line with wanting to revamp some stuff and bring like some newer, fresher content to this channel.
Yeah.
We will be revamping that over the next couple of weeks as well. So that's a lot. We're going to have a lot of fun with that.
Yeah.
Anyways, as for questions, we got Garth is asking for Eric. You write great video chronic pop quizzes. Has there been talk with PJ about you contributing to questions for the Schmoedown matches?
No, I mean, the pop culture quiz stuff is like very fun. Like I love doing it, and I did it, like I always say, as like kind of more an exercise for me when I was studying, because I thought I was in the draft, and I love doing the questions, but I admit it is much easier for me to do questions per one movie, 20 questions, and like I'm done, like I'm out. And like I can make them like very specific, like plot based. I don't have to like worry about like ancillary questions. Whereas PJ has like a team that's behind him, like which is great, but he has like a much bigger pile of work on his plate to ask like every feasible question of a movie that he can, like depending on the division. And so like that is his thing, like for sure. And I would never want to step on his toes in any way to say that I want to jump in and do the editing and the questions. Like, like that's a very big task. And so I commend him a lot because I work hard. Like I admit, I work hard. Like I do. I will say that for myself. I work a lot of hours to churn out, 4 matches a week that we're doing right now on top of like the promos, on top of like the social media like promos and like the edits and all that stuff. However, PJ is also working around the clock to make sure like we have like the matches like to begin with to like have questions of, like that's what this whole thing is, right? It's questions. It's questions about movies, and he's the one providing that, and he works very hard to write them, to conceptualize them, to organize them amongst the team, to also then double check them, fact check them, like literally make sure like they are grammatically correct, they are like technically correct, doing research around them, and then submitting them and organizing them into a format that then Mark and Ellis, Christian and Mark can read, that then I can have to like pull from for the edits. He has a lot of work on his plate as well, and so like I love helping out in my sense, which is the editing, and he has his area, which is the question writing. We are a good team in that aspect. However, the question writing is for pop culture quizzes, that's more my thing, which is very easy in comparison.
Yeah, well, your questions, having played quite a few of your video chronic quizzes, your questions and your multiple choices, fantastic. Like there's a couple of times where like I know the answer and I want those 2 points, but I really want to go to multiple choice just to see what kind of shenanigans you put in there.
Yeah, the hardest part of choice on those is just making things up, like make made up words. It's like I had to make up like fun phrases and fun like things.
Yeah. So talking specifically about a lot of your hard work, we know that sleep isn't really a thing for you.
Yeah.
And because of that, I know a lot of people are putting this in there. They're putting the wrong hashtag though. We just want to make sure that we are very aware that this is the hashtag that you need to be spreading around right now. It's hashtag Yodi for Chronic, because it's about time you get the award for all the hard work that you have put into this thing that we love so much.
Yeah. And I appreciate it. And, that's a bigger discussion than, I think I can contribute for, which is, people have different opinions on it. And one, like, yes, like I would love to be awarded that at the end of the year, depending on if we have awards and everything. Right. Or if we'll roll that over to next year, I don't know. But people have different opinions on what the Yodi Award is for. Like I think that's part of the confusion. Like people have different opinions on what should be required to earn it. Like if it's a longevity thing, if it's a accomplishment thing, so on and so on. So I think we need to kind of figure that out before we can attribute that to any specific person. But in general, yes, I appreciate it to you and of course everyone in the chat and on Twitter and stuff saying that that you want to give to me this year. I will say as my bid for it, I would. Normally last year people said it and as well, a few people said it that I should get it that year, but I was all for the Shy Wolves getting it for obvious reasons. And this year, people are saying it for me, and I would just say if I had to back myself up in that sense, I would just say I'll take it, if only for the fact that this year of work for the Schmoedown is heavily hinged upon like the editing. And it's been a big task for myself to pivot and to have like a strong learning curve as to how we need to like present these like videos in a new format. And again, that's helped by the Skybound team, by Christian and Mark, by figuring out like what's the best way to present it. But as far as executing it, like it's been a big learning curve, especially for like this and the promos. Like the promos are very difficult to cut these days. Like I will say, because of the fact that I'm not getting any new footage of like awesome slow motion B-roll. So like I am like trying my best not to recycle stuff. I'm trying to make it as dynamic as possible. Which is in the Star Wars match, you see like a lot of like jumping around between like their individual cameras and like the wide frame and stuff like that, to make it as exciting as possible. And it's very difficult with just live, recorded online matches, so I'm doing my best. And so I do appreciate the recognition that people have already, and that's more than enough. So I want to say thank you to everyone. And so if that equals an award at the end of the year, I would appreciate that even more so.
I think that's why, honestly, one of the big reasons why we're pushing it right now is because we, in our efforts to push that before, we have stated that you are, and I know multiple people kind of qualify under this definition, but you are one of the backbones of the Schmoedown. Whereas specifically in this situation, in this season, the editing is really where a lot of the Schmoedown's flavor actually gets added to it. Otherwise, it would just be another StreamYard show where people are coming together and talking and all right, into the show, we're done. You are the one that's adding a lot of like what constitutes the Schmoedown is what you're adding into it on the back end in that post-production area. So that's there's a lot of we obviously the two of us, we know about video editing. We've done quite a bit of it ourselves. So like we know how much there's a lot of work in it to be able to pump out as many of these matches as you're doing and are going to have to be doing going into the singles and teams and all that. It's definitely, I think, a good argument for why you should get that award this year.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I appreciate it.
That looks like that's going to be it as far as comments. So yeah, that's going to do it for tonight's episode. Again, this was the first time that we're doing this live with the guests. So we're almost hitting that 2-hour mark. So good indication of how these might go, especially when we're doing 4 matches a week pretty soon. Who knows?
Yeah.
This is about to be a lot of fun, but exactly. But to everyone in the chat, to everyone who's been watching, thank y'all for joining us tonight. It's been a blast. This has been a lot of fun. I'm really eager to see how these are going to continue as we continue to develop, to evolve this form of reacting. I think this is going to be a great new direction for us, at least. Yeah. So again, thank you.
New direction.
What's that? Is that like a boy band or something?
I'll tell you later.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so again, thank you all for watching. Thank you for contributing in there. We hope to see you again tomorrow night with Jake Berlin as we do Damon and Kalinowski. Yes, Chris, did you have a question?
Yeah, leave a comment, guys. Once this is over and once the comment section appears, go ahead and leave a comment down below. What did you like about this format? What did you not like? What can we improve on, change up? Do you like pausing it kind of a little bit in between and talking with our guests about some of the stuff that's appearing on screen? I know that's something that we both really enjoyed about the idea of doing this format. So hope it translates and works well for the audience as well. So just let us know in the comments what you guys think also.
Yeah. And I'll shout out Brian Nussbaum, because Brian Nussbaum's very much on the McWeenie for Yodi train, and I see him a lot. He won't miss an opportunity to say like, no, not me, McWeenie. And I say like, I'll say this, Brian, like you're up to your opinion, but honestly, like, no, McWeenie is great, but there's so many more other people that deserve it besides me, taking me out of the running, that deserve it like 100% more than McWeenie at this point. So yeah. I'll say
there's
that.
There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people working behind the scenes who definitely need to be recognized for the work that they do. So that's one of the big things.
Yeah. But no shit on you, Brian. I see you a lot in like the Facebook thing. I know you're like a very dedicated fan. Like I love you. Like I see you all over the place. So yeah, like thank you for everything that you're doing as well, just hanging out here and like doing these live chats and everything.
Also, we know McWeenie will be back someday.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Then we'll
Anyways,
take the award back from him. Yeah.
Anyways, that's going to do it for tonight. Again, thank y'all for watching, and all of y'all have a great evening. Go over to the Video Chronic and watch their Nightmare Before Christmas stream. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll probably be over there in the chat as well. So we will see all y'all later, and hopefully see y'all tomorrow night. Y'all all have a great evening, and good night.